O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, baby, it's a beautiful Monday. Welcome aboard.
Hey, fix your mic, bro. Fix the mic.
We got Mike's issues here. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let us put some boom in it. Welcome aboard. There we go. It should be fixed now, right? We good now? We good? We good in the hood? How we doing? Everything all right? We getting the okay? All right. I like it. All right. It's a beautiful Monday. Any Dolphin win makes it a beautiful Monday, as you all know, because that's the law of the land. And you get a Dolphin win, that's all that matters. You get 3 in a row, that's mighty sweet. That's a nice little hat trick for the Dolphins right now. And I know it's not the season we all wanted, but I'm not going to sit here and start crying about the whole season and pouting and all that. We do enough of that throughout the year. I got to stay in the moment and enjoy the fact that the boys went up to New York, took care of business. All the Dolphin fans out there, I saw you on television, all right? I saw you folks on television. The MetLife takeover was a success, and all of you out there that were in New York to witness it live, you are awesome. And obviously the rest of us all over the world, because obviously we've got Dolphin fans every part of the world. Somehow or another, they were on a TV, on an internet screen, on a phone, trying to watch the game and watching their beloved Dolphins win, which is, listen, no matter what kind of a season the Dolphins are having, you still always want to beat the stinking Jets. You know what I'm saying? So it was good yesterday to watch them beat the stinking Jets. It was good to see Tua play well again. I think he's getting even more comfortable in a chaotic situation because obviously he doesn't have the offensive line he deserves. He doesn't have a running game that he can really depend on. Although yesterday, let's give the line a little love. No sacks. Tua did a good job overall of avoiding his own sacks, right? Because young quarterbacks, even veteran quarterbacks every once in a while run into a sack, but young quarterbacks obviously have a much more tendency to run into, sacks. So they were able to stay away from that. They were able to pop out some nice little runs yesterday. It was always it like puts a smile on your face, right? When you see them pop a run, then you're like, they get 7-8 yards, 10, 12 yards, and you're like, whoa, all right, I'll take it, man. All right, the good stuff. So, I mean, listen, baby steps, small little pieces of success. That's what we have to depend on. These are the building blocks that we've got to hope that somehow or another lead to better days, down the line. But the bottom line is, hey, you picked up the win. This is a winnable game, and you did what you were supposed to do. Right now, I know they don't have the record that we all want them to have, but listen, you look at the schedule coming up. You got Carolina, and I don't care what Cam Newton did. It's a winnable game, okay? You've got the Giants after that, another very winnable game. Then you get a much-needed bye week already at this point. And then you come back and you get to play the Jets at home. So hopefully you can pick up another win overall. Then at New Orleans, that becomes a challenge. At Tennessee, we'll We'll get into our buddy Ryan Tannehill soon enough. And so you got that to the second last game of the season. And then you know what? You can end the year here at home confusing the crap out of the New England quarterback and beat him twice this year, because that's probably what's going to end up happening. So we'll see. There's a lot of winnable games. We can't get ahead of ourselves. We saw them struggle with the Jets yesterday. Okay. And it's at some points you were like, come on, are you serious? You know, and you finally, they got it done. It's all right. Now, I want to give you guys a tip to kind of help you out when you use the Hard Rock app, okay? And one of the things that I like about the Hard Rock app, there's a lot of things to like about it, is the line fluctuates as the game goes on, right? Because they have an algorithm going on that kind of reads whatever the game's going on. So if the game flips and the dog all of a sudden is leading by so many points, then all of a sudden the favorite becomes the dog, and then it starts getting points and things like that. So let me give you 3 scenarios that over the weekend that I took advantage of with the Hard Rock app if you're smart, okay? And by the way, I'm not smart. So if I figured it out, and I'm a big dummy, all of you out there that are way brighter than I am, you'll figure it out. So here we go. So first of all, I am playing the game, okay? And I told this story yesterday. So I took Vatek plus 7.5. All right. I figured Vatek will keep it close. I thought Miami would win. So as the game's going on and Miami takes the lead, it's Vatek goes up plus 10.5. So I double my bet. And I bet again on Vatek. And so as Miami's taking the lead, the line drops to plus 12.5 for Vatek. I double that bet. Okay? Because I felt like I really had a strong feeling that Vatek would keep this game close. Right? Lose, but keep it close. So I took the 10.5. So then 12.5 pops up. I take the 12.5. I double that. Then 14.5 comes up. I double that. Then 16.5 comes up. I double that. 18.5 came up for a moment, and I was going to double it. And my wife goes, "Are you sure you want to put that much money on one game?" And, women, as I said yesterday, no shot. We love you all women out there, but men have a tendency of being more risk takers than women. Women, on average, are more conservative. And my wife, by the way, she's not conservative. She's ultra conservative. Okay. All right. So she's like ultra careful, like she's the only reason why I've maybe even lived this long in my life, actually. But anyway, so because you always need some kind of balance in your life, right? And my wife is definitely the balance. So, but she stopped me from it. And then they end up winning by 12 points, right? So I lost the 7.5 bet. I lost the 10.5 bet, but I won 12.5. I won 14.5, and I won 16.5. And I'm still regretting to this moment that I didn't take 18.5. So I racked up in the game. Okay. Example 1. Example 2. Miami Dolphins. I took the Dolphins yesterday minus 3.5. Line went up to 4, actually, right? So the Jets end up tying the game. Remember? Line goes down. Miami favored by 2.5. So I doubled the bet there. The other way instead. Do you know why? Because I had it at 3.5. What happens if the Fins only win by 3? I lose the 3.5 bet. So I doubled it up and I covered my ass and I took 2.5. So if they do win by the field goal, I still win. I cover myself and I win. They won by 7. I took both bets. All right. 2 different ways. Last night, I'm looking at the basketball game, right? And I'm looking at the Knicks on the road as of late, and they're losing by several points, 6, 8, 10, 11 points. The last couple of road games, they haven't been doing nearly as well. The Knicks are a solid little basketball team. But Chicago's turned into a much better basketball team right now than the Knicks, right? And so Chicago's home. So I look at the Knicks schedule. I look at that they're struggling on the road a little bit, right? A young team. They were doing better on the road earlier in the season, and now as of the last couple of weeks, if you look at it, they've struggled a little bit more on the road, and especially against good teams, they're losing by quite a bit. Bulls are favored by 4.5 on this one, right? So what happens? Bulls are favored by 4.5. I lay the 4.5 because I like the Bulls. Oh, by the way, the Knicks had played the night before, so they were on a back-to-back on the road. Bulls were off the night before, and they're home waiting for the Knicks, right? And it was a pretty tight game. And so at one point where the Knicks were leading, actually, you know what ended up happening? The Bulls got 1.5. Because the Knicks took like a 5-point lead or something like that. So if you have conviction, I do this with coins, when there's a dip, I don't panic and sell. If I believe in VeChain or Polygon or Crow or Engine Coin or Mana or whatever, I don't panic. I buy more, right? So that's what I did. I love the Bulls against the Knicks last night, laying the 4.5 points. So the Knicks are taking a lead. It's basketball. There's 2 quarters left. They're up by 5. All of a sudden now the Knicks are favored and the Bulls are getting 1.5. What do you think I did? I doubled the bet. And what do you think happened? Bulls won by more than 4.5. I took both bets. So those are 3 different examples of how you can take advantage of a fluctuating line on the Hard Rock Sportsbook app. Okay? Now, you've got to watch the game, okay? And then obviously have the app next to you and watch the stock market price of it go up and down. Because this is what I do with crypto. When I was noticing it the other night, and I said, I got to start, wait a minute, I got to take advantage of this because this is kind of like crypto. So when there's a dip, right, and I see that it's dipping and dipping and dipping, what I do is I buy a little, right? And then I see that it continues to dip, and then I buy a little more. But I buy more than I bought before. And if it dips again, I buy even more than I bought before that. That's kind of the way I do it. I try to buy. Now, you can never really, time the bottom or hit the top. I mean, we're going to hit it once in a blue moon and we'll get lucky, but it's so hard. That's why you have to do your own homework. That's why you have to follow it. That's why you have to understand it. You know what I mean? And once you follow it, you understand it, you're living it, you kind of already see the ebbs and flows and you can kind of feel it. And so that's what you're going to have to do also with the app when you're looking at your sports betting, okay? If you have conviction on it, whatever game it is that you have conviction on, like I did in these 3 instances, you have an opportunity to take advantage of it one way or another. You know what I mean? I lost the 7.5 and the 10.5 with the Canes. But because of my conviction, thinking that they would keep it close, and you kept extending the point spread and giving Vatek more, I said, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, because I know that Manny Diaz's teams eventually will screw up, will do something, will open the door for them. And sure enough, they were able to at least keep it well enough that I was able to win 3 of the 5 bets. And I won the 3 bigger bets out of the 5 bets. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the way you got to look at it with the Hard Rock app. There we go. So there's another. See, we just find ways to help you make some money, man. We split Bitcoin on OKCoin. Lots of you got a lot of the $50 of free Bitcoin. Also on Crow, $25 when you get the card. You get the $25 when you use my link. Come on, man. Crypto tips this year. Thank the Lord. We have been smoking red hot on almost everything. There's only a couple that I'm still waiting for. I mean, we're all making money a little bit on VeChain, but we're still waiting for the real big hit, like what's happening now with Crow and things like that. I'm still waiting for BitTorrent. There's a couple that are still a little dormant left, but most all the other coins that I've told you about, they have just been skyrocketing. So we have made you all some money this year, okay? Made you all a bunch of money this year. So if you're following it, of course. Anyway, so there you go. It's a beautiful day. It is. Dolphins win. We're winning on the crypto market. We're winning in the Hard Rock app. It's life is good. Life is really good. Big O and chat from Two Extreme. Can everyone here agree that yesterday should be the very last time we see Preston Williams on the field and in a Dolphins uniform? The guy is completely pitiful and made of glass. Yeah, no, he needs to. Plus, he likes Doge. Plus he brags about Dogecoin like it's a real, just when I hear people brag about Dogecoin, it's like I look at you and I go, okay, I get it now. You know nothing about crypto. You're just, following along the other fools or whatever, thinking that Doge is actually something real. At least when I tell you about a meme coin, I tell you right away, hey, it's a meme coin. It's a gamble. Okay. So if you're going into, Shiba Inu, or you're going into Dogecoin, or you're going into Dogeland Mars, or Floki. Did you see Floki? Floki Inu is another one of those meme coins. They now are going to be they got sponsorship of a soccer team in India. Okay, that's enormous. That a meme coin is now going to be on a soccer jersey, and in that country, which that country's, population is just wow. It's what, maybe number two, number three in the world or whatever, and that it's just crazy. So that is. Wow, I never thought I'd see a meme coin doing something like that. So there you go. But at least we tell you here meme coins are meme coins and they're gambles, not investments. Preston Williams actually thinks it's a real investment. So yeah, just because of that, I would cut him. Okay. Now I would be the general manager and I would bring him in, say, Preston, listen, I got to tell you. And he goes, no, I know, coach. I haven't lived up. I've been dropping passes, getting injured. No, it's not that, Preston. No, it's not. We know you've been a disappointment there. But the real disappointment, Preston, is that you actually think Dogecoin is like smart crypto. So we just can't have that on the team. We just, no. If you were bragging about Ethereum, then, we can leave you on the team. If you're talking about Avalanche, we can leave you on the team. If you're thinking Cadena, well, then, hey, you're a little ahead on the curve. Nice job by you. Way to go. By the way, I tweeted this out a couple days ago. If you don't follow me on Twitter, just in case, because I don't remember always everything that I want to say out here. But a lot of you ask me sometimes, again, I'm not a financial advisor. I am just a dude that loves crypto. I encourage every one of you out there to do your own homework, to figure everything out on your own. Okay, don't just go by what I say. Do your own homework, look into it, make sure you know what the hell you're investing in, and then you feel good about it. But these crypto projects I want to get a little more involved in, and these are investments. Cadena, I haven't gotten into these yet, but I do want to. Sunday Swap is the Uniswap, the Pancake Swap, or Shiba Swap of the Cardano ecosystem. And remember, smart contracts started in September. Everything is now starting to roll on the Cardano ecosystem. The businesses and all the dApps and everything else are going to start moving a lot now. Cardano is another one that's been kind of stagnant lately. That one's going to be making a parabolic move soon. So will Polygon, by the way. Sunday Swap is going to be the swap that they're going to be using on the Cardano ecosystem. I can guarantee you that. And I think Sunday Swap, it's going to come out like at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cents, something like that. So it's going to be really cheap coming out of the gate. Normally, I don't like investing in coins the second they come out because usually There's a rise and then there's a dip. But if I can get my hands on it, I'm going to try to get in on this early on, and I'll wait for the dip and get a little bit more. But I do like Sunday swap, and it's something, I'm big on trying to get in coins early. Okay. Crow, I got in early. V-Chain, I'm in early. You want to get in when they're pennies or fractions like BitTorrent. BitTorrent's been dormant, all that, and it's been sitting at a third to a fourth of a penny. You know what I mean? But to me, it doesn't matter. What I've done is I'll continue to accumulate because eventually it's going to shoot up. And when it does, then I will then be able to take the profits and I'll let it sit there and I'll let it marinate. You know what I mean? But Cadena, and that's Kadena, Sunday swap, and it's spelled Sundae swap. Acala, also Acala, and Ecomi. Now, I'm already in Ecomi on Gate.io, but it hasn't reached a penny yet. And Ecomi is another one that I think is going to just absolutely be a monster. And then there's a gamble, and that's Saitama. And I'm waiting for the Saitama swap to come out so you can buy it directly from Saitama, because you're going to be able to buy it from them and then stake it at 6%. Now, they've had some issues. They had a logo issue recently here, and I think they've solved that logo issue. But they have very interesting relationships, okay, on this coin. And so it's going to be, it's not a meme coin. It's an ecosystem. This is the logo you may look at it and you think, oh, there's a meme coin. It's not really a meme coin. It's actually a real ecosystem. So I think this is one that has, and because again, it's, several digits behind the penny, you know what I mean? I want to get into Saitama to kind of test it. But again, that one's a gamble, rolling the dice. Okay. Like, Shiba is rolling the dice, right? You know what I did? I took some of my profits from Shiba yesterday. You know what I did with those profits? There was a dip in Crow. I bought Crow. So this, I already got my investment out from Shiba. Now I took some profits for the first time while we're waiting for Shiba, and it's been sitting there and consolidating for a while. And I expected to take off a little bit more, but you know what? I had so much Shiba that I actually took some profits out. And there was a dip last night on crypto. And listen, on Crow, and I got my Crow really, really cheap. But there was a dip yesterday. Again, you're not always going to time the dip the right way. But I got the dip down at 67. And I said, you know what? This thing's going to continue to climb. So I went and bought a bunch at 67, and it's shot up now this morning to 73, about to 74 cents. So I'm already almost making 7 cents off of each coin that I bought last night, because I know that this thing is going parabolic. I've talked about Crow for months now, so many months. And I told you that I compared it a lot to Binance. Binance is at $500, $600. So, and I think this is going to be better than Binance. So I don't know if it'll get to that kind of number, but it's going to climb. I'm a strong believer in Crow. So there you go. There's a little gambling and crypto talk right there for you in the process. All right. It's a beautiful thing. Remember, many ways to contribute to the program. Text line 855-912-1056. If, by the way, you want to become a sponsor of the program, all right, like all our great sponsors here. By the way, I was tripping out because I was talking to Eves yesterday, and Eve Sham from American Dream Lending. And if you need a mortgage, man, he is just fantastic. I'm telling you, you got to call him. 305-992-5218, 305-992-5218 to call Eves, because he is awesome if you need to get a mortgage. And we have like 3 or 4 listeners right now currently locally in South Florida that are working with Eves. How about this? I didn't know this, okay? We have a listener in Indiana. All right. Well, we have several listeners in Indiana because they chime in, but there's one, I don't know the name or anything, but he or she is working on a deal right now because Eves is licensed all throughout the United States. In most states, he's licensed. And so he's actually working on something for them in Indiana. And we actually have several listeners in Hawaii that chime in on a consistent basis. One of you in Hawaii is working with Eves. I tripped out on that, man. I was like, okay, all right, I can see 4 or 5 people here in South Florida are working with you right now, Eves, and trying to get a deal done because you're right here. But by the way, thank you all out there. Okay, I appreciate it because that's how we grow. You know, you use our sponsors, you smash the like button, you make a donation on Cash App or Venmo to help us out. I appreciate it immensely. Thank you. Or, of course, on the super chat. You know what I mean? Subscribing, not just in the like button, but subscribing, hit that notification bell. All of these things, man, they get the algorithms going. I tell you guys all the time. It is incredibly important for us to get, because we got to start to generate the kind of revenue. Listen, we want to be the only show. Remember, this has been the only radio show in the country for the last 20 years that consistently goes to the Combine, the Senior Bowl, and the East-West Shrine Game. Do you think I want to keep that going? Oh, yeah. Do you guys want me to do this? Yeah. Do you want to see Sean out there in those places? Yeah. So we need to continue to build the sponsors, the likes, the subscriptions, the subs. All of that is so important on our podcast, on YouTube, everywhere, Twitter, you name it. So thank you all out there. However it is you support us, coming out to Sports Grill yesterday. So many of you that came out and hung out and we had some fun. I appreciate all of you, meeting all of you out there. Robert in Denver, by the way. Robert, you're a stud coming all the way from Denver. I appreciate all of you out there. These are the ways that we're going to grow, and we're going to go to all these places. I want to be at the NBA Summer League. If the Marlins do their job and they start to spend money, I want to be out, during the baseball winter meetings. We want to be the most complete sports talk show in the country. Forget just South Florida. I mean, we're trashing QAM and 790. They ain't shit compared to this. You know what I'm saying? They don't do anything. They don't care about our community. They don't really cover our community. It's just a corporate entity that's just trying to suck blood from people here in South Florida. That's all they're doing. Nothing more, nothing less. Like most of these radio stations, most of these radio companies, that's all they do. They don't give a crap about the human beings that work in the damn building. How the hell they're going to care about you guys? But here, we are born and raised in South Florida. We are South Florida. So we care about South Florida sports, and you can bet your life that that's the case. So that's why I appreciate all of you out there, whether you go to Acura, whether you call Pallet Rack City, whether you call American Dream Lending, Sports Grill, Caneswear, Hialeah Park, wherever it is, and some of our new sponsors that we're working on that should be joining us very soon here. Appreciate all of you out there, man. It is just absolutely amazing. So thank you all. All right. And that was really cool. When Eves told me he was working on 2 accounts in Indiana and Hawaii, I was like, all right, this is awesome. This is pretty damn cool to have that. Let's see, what else do we have going on here on the show? What do we got here? Donnie, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. A little love on Venmo by Donnie. He says, first drive, no huddle. Hurry up to the line. Can call play, execute play, first drive TD. After that, the huddle up and suck. Why not go back to hurry up? It worked. What the F, Big O? Was at the Finns game. Fans are the best. Hashtag MetLife takeover. You're the best. Thank you, Donnie. No, you are the best, sir, for supporting us. Also, Big O, who's calling the plays? The Wildcat was done with Ronnie Brown. Lose that crap. You know what? I'm with you, Donnie. The Wildcat is garbage. I don't know why they keep doing it, my brother. I really don't. And it seems like they script that first drive And then after that, they run out of ideas and they're not the same team. And this happens on a consistent basis, which tells me is what I've been saying for a long time. It's coaching. You know what I'm saying? What's up there, Sean?
Now, I want to tell you, Omar had tweeted out, I guess Austin Reeder was talking with the media earlier, and I guess they asked about why they're so good the first play. He says no mental errors. When we run the plays that are scripted, there are no mental errors. So apparently there's mental errors whenever they don't have the play that's already scripted.
Right. Well, obviously, I mean, and that's coaching. That's coaching. Coaching is what prepares your players. The practices, the reps, the classroom, the busting of the balls to make sure that they know what the hell they're doing. This is a terrible offensive staff. It's a problem. But yet, Tua overcomes, Waddle overcomes, Gesicki overcomes, Mac Hollins overcomes. It's pretty impressive. People want to look at it, all this crap like a negative. I don't. I look at it completely different. Get me a real offensive line coaching. Get me an offensive coordinator, and Tua will ball freaking out. And Waddle will end up in the Pro Bowl, and Gesicki will be looked at as one of the top 5-7 tight ends in the NFL. But if you don't get me that, I know that we're not going to see our boys ever excel the way we all want them to excel. Because real offensive coordinators can adjust on the fly. Real offensive teams are coached well to adjust to everything that's going on. See, none of this crap ever flies with me because I lived Shula. So I know what great coaching looks like. I've watched Pat Riley. I've watched Eric Spoelstra. I know what great coaching looks like. I know when a team is disciplined and week in and week out and game in and game out, they're the smarter bunch on the on the floor, on the court, on the ice, whatever it is. When you look at the Miami Heat, who's usually going to be more well-conditioned team on the floor? The Heat or the opponent? The Heat, right? Who's usually going to make less mistakes? The Heat or the opponent? The Heat, right? Same thing with Don Shula. Which team was usually going to be smarter? The Dolphins or the opponent? Which is the team that was going to make less mistakes? The Dolphins or the opponent? Which is the team that's going to be creative and adjust and make great decisions from the sideline and executed by the players? The Dolphins or the opponent? I'm talking about the old Dolphins, not the East Dolphins. I'm talking about Shula's Dolphins, okay? You know what I'm saying? So, don't that you'll never be able to sell me on this. Because I know what good coaching looks like. And when I watch Flores' offensive staff, I know that these are terrible coaches. Maybe they could be good offensive coaches in 10 or 15 years. But right now, this is not the time. We don't have time to waste and watch Tua get injured because you can't teach your linemen how to block and how to protect each other and how to pick each other up and how to rotate and whatever. I'm sorry. We don't have time for that. This is the NFL. The time for that was somewhere else, not now. You're supposed to come here ready-made. And that's the problem with Flo. He can't find ready-made coaches. And you don't have time in the NFL to try to breed them and develop them. That doesn't happen. You get fired before you ever get there. That's the problem. Let's see. I understand Jonathan Taylor is excelling in the pro level, but he dinged for a total of 18 fumbles, 15 of which were lost. Remember, other teams passed on him, and the Finns were among him. No, he was also injured a lot too in college. I was afraid of Jonathan Taylor myself because of the injuries, and he's had one hell of a run here since he started last year. Got to give the kid a lot of credit, but he scared the crap out of me with his dude. After the Devontae Parker thing, I kind of changed my tune on taking chances on guys that had some injury history in college. After the Devontae Parker thing, because I love Devontae Parker coming out of Louisville, and I know he had the foot injury in Louisville and all that. And, I said, okay, well, maybe he's not really injury prone. He just had bad luck, and he's been a sack of injuries, and he was never able to realize his real talent because of his injuries. You know what I'm saying? So that's where, to me, that's injured players are some that scare the crap out of me. And Jonathan Taylor was one of those guys. It's all hindsight. That's all. People are reacting off of hindsight. George Rodriguez, thank you, sir, for giving us a little love on the Cash App, my man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Very nice of you, sir. Remember, Cash App or Venmo, the links are right there if you're listening on the podcast. Cash Big O Show is the address. That's Cash Big O Show is the address if you want to get in on Le Programme, which is a beautiful thing. Let's see, what else do we have going on to talk about? Before I get into a little more Dolphins talk. Oh, wait a minute. I know that we've got Omar. I don't know. This is time for Omar. So I don't know if I should get into it. Let me see. Let me give Omar a little look-see, because if I start getting into this, I don't want to stop, because I've got a couple things I want to say about this, and it's something that's gonna, I guess rattle some cages here in South Florida.
I do know he's still tweeting from the press conference. I don't know if they're still going or not.
Okay. All right. No problem. Okay, good. Well, this allows me to okay. All right, no problem. We'll get Omar down the line. Good. I got plenty to say. I got plenty to talk about. I think we'll get him at the top of the hour. All right, so I want you guys to brace yourselves here a little bit, especially the Canes fans. I want you to maybe sit down in your seat. If you're driving, you may want to park. If you're a real rabid Canes fan, you may not like what I'm about to say. You may not like what you're about to hear. You may not want to believe what I'm about to say. And listen, I'm far from perfect. I get a lot of things wrong. So, it's not the first time that I'll be wrong. And obviously, once in a blue moon, we're right. So, the Miami Hurricanes need to find a head coach now, right? If they fire Manny. Now, we all know that this is a scenario. If they don't fire Manny, then they're going by the cheap route. Now, I do want to remind you, for the Canes, if they're going to go the cheap route, okay? Right now, Florida, USC, Washington, Troy, Vatech, FIU, UMass, Akron, TCU, Washington State, and LSU all need head coaches, okay? Texas Tech, UConn, and UMass, they also fired their coaches or lost them, but they already have replaced them. The Baylor assistant, Joey McGuire, is going to go to Texas Tech. Jim Mora is going to UConn, and Don Brown is expected to be hired by UMass. Now, everybody's talking about Mario Cristobal. People are talking about Lane Kiffin. And those are the two most popular names that Canes fans are talking about. Okay? Now, first of all, let me address Lane Kiffin. All right? Lane Kiffin, I love his offensive mind. I really do. I think he is perfect for today's college football. He understands how to attack defenses. I think he's marvelous when it comes to his offense, okay? And there's no doubt he could bring something to the table. But if you're the University of Miami, the story that Slater put out, and Slater does an excellent job of breaking stories and stuff like that. I give him all the credit in the world in that. He does a really nice job with that. He's developed a nice little niche in breaking stories and stuff like that, and with the cops and all that. So that's cool. Now, that story was all agent fed. One, it's kind of a bogus story because, well, he'll take the job if offered. So that's kind of a bogus thing because, first of all, they're not just going to offer you the job publicly and people are going to find out about it. You know what I'm saying? And one, that story, obviously, I'm sure Ole Miss doesn't want to hear that he's dying to leave, if he's offered a job from somewhere else. And if you're the University of Miami, why would you hire a guy that's a gypsy that never stays anywhere anyways? So you're going to be back in square one with Lane Kiffin within a couple of years because another job's going to pop up and he's going to consider it a bigger job and he's going to leave when it's all said and done. So, and he can't be trusted. Let's be honest. As creative as he is, if you're the University of Miami, you're trying to find some stability, some longevity, something you have not been able to find, right? So that, to me, Lane Kiffin is a guy that if you take a chance, you're going to be replacing him very soon for either not meeting expectations or two, he leaves because he finds another job that he feels is better and he moves on. Could be another SEC job. And by the way, for Lane, it's a terrible look if he leaves Ole Miss after a couple years, just like what he did at Tennessee. So that will also be a thing that if you're the University of Miami, you have to always think this guy's constantly, sleeping with the other woman. Okay? Lane is not a good option in that sense. I'm just saying, I love the offensive mind, but the longevity, what you need, it may not be there with Lane Kiffin. That's the problem. So now we move over to Mario Cristobal. Mario Cristobal is the local kid, the Columbus kid, the kid that went to the University of Miami, won a national championship, has earned his way to where he's at in Oregon. From FIU and Rutgers and Alabama and everything else, the man he really has earned every bit of everything that he does have. All right. Now, hiring Mario Cristobal would cost a lot of money because of the buyout. You'd have to pay him a lot of money and his assistants. Correct? Now, here's the positive about hiring Mario Cristobal. You tried to get a lifer with Randy Shannon because if Randy would have hit, he would have stayed. He wouldn't have ever gone anywhere. But unfortunately, Randy has no personality and it's hard for him and he wasn't able to really get it, done. So you had to move on. You've tried with all kinds of other guys. None of them stay. You then found Mark Richt, who then was pushed out of Georgia. But he's a former Cane, just like Randy Shannon. Just like the guys that all met last week. Melvin Bratton talked about, no, I want a guy that was on Green Tree practice field. That's who I want as an AD, somebody that understands it. Well, Randy Shannon understood it, but didn't get it done, right? And then you had Mark Richt. Unfortunately, Mark Richt was already past his prime, and what we were hoping for, that this was going to revitalize him, it really wasn't. And then, unfortunately, now he also has an illness on top of all of that, which we all wish him the best. And hopefully, he's able to overcome and live a long life. But it did not work out with Mark Richt, right? And he meant well, did some good things, helped out, all of that. But with Mario Cristobal, it's kind of what you were hoping with Randy. It's kind of what you were hoping with Mark Richt. You would get a lifer, correct? Okay. Here's the problem I have with all of this. And now I'm going to tread in some very, very, very tough waters here. Rough waters, bumpy, windy, everything, you name it. Swells, what I'm saying? This is going to rock the boat here. Because I get it. He's also Latin, Cuban. I'm Cuban. So you're going to have a lot of people that are Latin and Cuban pulling for Mario Cristobal, local guy, Miami, all of this. Canes fans pulling for Mario, this, that, all that. Now, you're going to spend a lot of money for that buyout in Oregon. And then you're going to spend a lot of money. Remember, they're paying the guy at Michigan $9.5 million per year for 10 years. Remember, USC needs a coach. Florida needs a coach. Troy Vatek, FIU, UMass, Akron, they're not going to pay that much. TCU needs a coach. Washington State needs a coach. LSU needs a coach. So you have some of these schools that are going to pay as much as Miami or more, probably more in the case of most of those, okay? So you got to spend a lot of money to do all of this. Here's the question I have for you, all right? Mr. Hardcore Canes fan for life, Mr. Latino, oye, Cubano, my own, because if we don't pull for our own, it's blasphemy. So let me ask you something. Be honest now. Is Mario Cristobal worth that money? Is Mario Cristobal worth that effort? Or are we just falling in love with the fact that it's the local guy because he's a hardcore guy, because he's a hard worker, because he brings the lunch pail, because he's a great recruiter, yada, 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 all that good stuff? What's he won at Oregon? What's he won with one of the easier conferences out there? What's he won with some of the best resources that exist in college football? He'll never have the kind of resources he has with Phil Knight in Oregon here in Miami. His players are getting drafted mighty high in the draft now. I mean, Justin Herbert looks way better in the pros than he ever did at Oregon. Mario Cristobal just got trucked by Utah this weekend. They rushed for 208 yards on 50 carries and 4 touchdowns in the process. Okay? Dayton, Ohio kid, by the way, named Tavion Thomas. So you tell me, does he beat the SEC? Does Oregon beat the SEC? Because, I mean, if you want him to take over at the University of Miami, well, you want him to beat Clemson and become the best team in this conference. And then you want him to get to the playoffs. In the playoffs, there's a guy named Nick Saban. And, there's Georgia and there's LSU and there's Auburn. And you're going to have to deal with those SEC teams that show up. And does he beat SEC teams? Because he's 34-12. Saban does much better in the SEC with a much tougher schedule. Saban will not lose 12 games in 46. He's 22-9 in the Pac-12. 22-9. Barely 2-1 in the Pac-12. I'm trying to separate hype from reality. Okay? 2020, they won the Rose Bowl against Wisconsin by 1 point, 28-27. 2019, they lost the Fiesta to Iowa State, who's 8-3. Keith Sims, I'm not trying to pick on Iowa State here, okay? But they got their asses kicked by Iowa State 34-17. I'm just saying, please explain to me how Mario Cristobal is worth the money and the effort to give him the UM job. He's done a fabulous job climbing the ladder. He's proven that he's a great recruiter. I get it. He hasn't proven to be a great head coach. I'm just saying. I'm looking at it and it's really not that impressive. Considering the resources, considering the conference, considering that your players are getting drafted pretty high in the draft, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just trying to be honest here. I'm trying to have the balls to say something that a lot of Latin people won't say, and maybe even some Canes fans won't look in the mirror and admit. Because we're all really quick to say Mario, Mario, Mario. But if you really start to look at what Mario's done at Oregon with everything that he has at his disposal and the conference that he plays in, I'm sorry, dude. I'm not that impressed. He's a guy we will run out of town in the first couple of years. Because if you're underachieving in the Pac-12, you will certainly underachieve in the ACC. And if you underachieve and you can't get to the playoffs and you can't really be an elite team, then, you can't do it with Oregon. How do I expect you to do it with the University of Miami? I'm just saying, be honest with yourselves. All right? Thank you, O. Why do we want a guy who is going to put us in the spot we are in now? He makes bad decisions late in games. He does. That's what Barry Brennan says. Jerry says, what's with Jimmy Johnson's record at Oklahoma State before taking over Canes? 29-25, got us 2 titles. Actually, he got 1, dude. Those are the facts. Jimmy Johnson was an underachiever here, my brother. He got 1 title, dude. Okay? And I still remember the embarrassing Maryland loss to end the season, and I'm still remembering the Fiesta Bowl. Okay? Anybody that allows, and the Sugar Bowl the year before, any coach that allows Vinny Testaverde to throw 9 interceptions in the Sugar and Fiesta Bowls with the kind of running game that you had, when you know that the dude is not really clutch, because Vinny was a freak of all freaks, talent-wise, but he wasn't clutch. He wasn't a money player. When the biggest that he failed in the 2 biggest games of his career, and he didn't just fail. I mean, he failed royally. He failed on a red carpet level. He failed. So, whatever you want, dude. If you want to, whatever. But Jimmy Johnson, I know he left Erickson a hell of a team, and Erickson won 2 of 3 with Jimmy's guys. That I will tell you. Jimmy recruited the hell out of it, but Jimmy was an underachiever also at the University of Miami. He should have won more at the University of Miami, if you're honest with yourself. Okay? Because he had no business losing to Tennessee, and he certainly had no business losing to Penn State. Oh my God, he had no business. So, and that was 30 years ago, my brother. 30 years ago. People forget that Herbert is tearing up NFL, was above average at best at Oregon under his guidance. He was mediocre at Oregon. He had no signature moments at Oregon. He came out, because of Mario, he came out looking like an introvert and all that other stuff, and people didn't really count on him and all that, and he's done all right so far. He looks way better here than he did in Oregon, and it shouldn't be that way. In Oregon, he should have been lighting it up because that's the lower level. But somehow he doesn't. Big O, at least Coach Flores has job security waiting at UM after the Dolphins. Stop smoking the seeds and the sticks. Let's see what else. Herbert's elite. Elite. Why would you call him elite? What's he won? Dude, he's played nice, okay? He's done a really nice job. He's got terrific stats overall. Let's not, I didn't even bother. Once I heard elite, I didn't even bother reading the rest. I don't need to read the rest already at that point. It's just like elite. Nothing elite about him yet. He's got elite physical talents, but he hasn't accomplished anything yet. When he wins big games and big moments, I saw Vinny Testaverde put a hand on I believe it was Brian Bosworth's helmet, and then throw right over his head and complete a pass, which was athletically one of the best things I've ever seen a quarterback ever do in my life, right? But then when we got to the Sugar Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl, he choked. Like, I think Vinny Testaverde could be the biggest choker in the history of the University of Miami football program. I mean, can you guys name a bigger choker than Vinny Testaverde? Is there a bigger choker than Vinny Testaverde in the history of the Canes? I don't know who else could throw 9 interceptions in 2 bowl games and pretty much piss away your team's opportunities with your decisions. Don't know if there's one, but physically it was there. So when Justin Herbert actually accomplishes and wins big games and big moments and all that, because that's kind of what I've been telling you, we need to see that part yet. We haven't seen that yet. Then we can say, okay, he's elite. Now, if you want to tell me that physically he has elite tools, okay, that'll give it to you. But he's not an elite quarterback. That's not the way it goes. Mike, there is one Coach Saban who is almost guaranteed success. Everybody else is a crapshoot. So you go for the best shot you can. And that's Mario, and roll the dice. Okay. But you didn't answer the question. You said roll the dice. So you think he's worth the money. So you're saying for sure that he is the guy that will win a national title when at the moment he has better resources, a better platform to get there, and he can't get there. We're not talking about a guy that has been in the national title game with Oregon a couple times and has come up short, but all he needs is maybe talent to put him over. No. He hasn't even gotten there yet. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Uber Beaner says, Big O, I'm kicking myself for not buying any Crow. In your opinion, what's a good entry point? Not financial advice. Well, Uber Beaner, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because yesterday, Crow hit I think it was 89 cents or something like that, 90 cents for a moment yesterday, and then came back down, right? So I have not bought any Crow in a long time. All right. I mean, I've gotten Crow as rewards and stuff like that. Today I bought a mic actually on Amazon, and I got Crow rewarded and stuff like that. So I saw that it dipped last night 12%, and it got down to 67 cents. And I bought some at 34 cents. Okay, because it came down and it kind of found a little home at 34. And so I bought some, and obviously it's doubled already from there. So last night, I felt like taking a little more. I felt like taking some profits out of my SHIB. And I said, you know what, man? It behooves me to have more Crow if I can get more Crow. And so there was a 12% dip last night and went down to 67. So I took some profits out of my SHIB. This is the first time I take profits out of SHIB. And I moved it over to Crow. And I bought Crow at 67 cents. And you know where Crow is this morning right now? Let's see. Let me get it. Let me get an update here, because it was over the 70s the last time I checked. I'll tell you where it's at right now. It is at 75 cents. So the stuff I got at 67, it's already at 75 cents. I'm already making 8 cents off each coin right now, as it is, from what I did. So that's how you do it. If you want to get in, you wait for a dip, a nice 2-digit dip like I did last night. It was 12%. I said, you know what, man? I know I can wait for SHIB, but Crow is hitting. I think Crow is just going to continue to grow. And so I waited for a dip, and I got in, and I said, you know what? Let me do that. And so I took a little SHIB out, and I went to, so why not, man? Let me enjoy a little profits from SHIB and put it into Crow. And now I've made more profits with Crow. Plus, it helps me build my Crow account, which is what I want to do anyways, because eventually I want to get to the next card. I'm at the green card right now, which is 4,000. crow that you got to stake. So now I'm trying to move up to the next card, and eventually I can get there. So there you go. So that's what I would do. You always wait for some kind of a dip. The dip will happen. And when that correction happens and it hits that floor, by the way, you don't always time the floor. Yesterday, I timed it pretty good at 67, 66, and I hit it right at the bottom of it, and now it shot back up again. So I got lucky last night that I was able to do that, but I was patiently waiting and watching. Okay, so remember, all of this takes work. You have to study, you have to read up on it, you have to check up on your stuff, and you got to keep track with what is going on. It takes work. It's not just, hey, by osmosis, and it works. G Firm, thank you, sir. Appreciate you giving us some love on the super chat. He says, how do you feel about Dougie P as OC next year? Dougie P. Peterson. Oh, I would love that. I'm not as a head coach, but as an offensive coordinator, I would love it. He kind of lost his team as a head coach. So maybe he's one of those guys that is better off as a coordinator, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, after all, Brian Flores looks like he's really an assistant coach, not a head coach. All right. Having said all that, let's get to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with the one and only Omar Kelly. For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
The myth, the legend that is Omar Kelly, baby. How you doing, man? You too serious, bro. Give me a smile.
I'm great, man. I'm on Twitter watching Dolphins fans bitch about something as they do.
Like what? What are they bitching?
It's now the Tua arm and the throw, and it's like,
terrific throw. It was accurate. It was beautiful. It was completed. It was a play. He made a play. I don't care how it looks. He made a play. That's it, bro. That's all that counts.
Biggest throw of his career. And it's like, but how far can he throw? Can he really only throw 53 yards? Like, okay. Like how far do you think every quarterback can throw? Maybe 60, 65? Like,
and once every 8 years, you actually get to throw a 60-yard pass. More often than not, it's a 25-yard pass that the receiver takes at 70 yards. Who are we kidding here, dude? I mean, it's not like you're sitting back there waiting for a guy to run 70 yards for you to then unload. Come on.
I've always said accuracy, anticipation, pocket presence over everything else.
That's it.
He's got that. Do I wish the arm was stronger? Yes, I do. Do I wish he was bigger and more durable? Yes, I do. Do I wish he could run like Justin Herbert? Yes, I do. But I take accuracy, anticipation, pocket presence. I take it all day.
And Joe Montana and Drew Brees couldn't do all those things either. Okay? They didn't have cannons. They couldn't run like Justin Herbert. They weren't built like Justin Herbert or Cam Newton or Dan Marino or Peyton Manning. They weren't. But somehow or another, they're in the Hall of Fame, bro. So chill out, relax, bro. If you're smart, the key with Tua, build a G-damn line and get him a running game. And guess what? He'll be even better, and you'll keep him upright. You'll keep him alive.
Maybe some healthy receivers. Maybe some durable receivers.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. That would definitely help.
That's a good starting
How about
point.
playing your durable receivers like Mac Hollins?
Bro, we need to just let that go. We both need to just let that go. Like I have beaten that drum so long for a month. I've let it go. They're not going to play him other than a handful of plays. And really, all they care is that he's just a decoy out there or a red zone threat. They have, and it's to their defense, this is how Flores coaches, and he gets it from the Patriots. Guys have defined roles.
Right.
All 47 players active have defined roles. They have defined packages. If we're like Brennan Scarlett, he's not better than Jalen Phillips. Not on his best days, he's better than Jalen Phillips, but he has a package, and that is his package. And if we're going to start the game or we're going to use that package against the Jets, then he's going to start and he's going to play more snaps. And it's really just about what package you're in, where they're comfortable with you. And unfortunately for Mac Hollins, they have a package for him. They are not interested in growing his package. And it is what it is. If you can't, me and you, we can't come to terms with the fact that he doesn't have more packages. And they're like, I don't care. And we're like, he continues to make plays every time he's on the damn field. He should be on the damn field more. And they're like, well, he's making plays in this package that we have for him. And it's a never-ending cycle with this team. They are a package-based team. That's been how they are from day one. It's how Flores has been birthed in this league, and it will never change.
Yeah, it's a shame. I'd rather you just play your best players and your most reliable players too, which that's the thing I love about Matt Collins, man. You can just count on that kid every single time, man. It's fun to see. Overall now, when you start to look at the schedule, and I'm not a big fan of playing the schedule game, but they have, and look, yesterday they struggled even with New York for a certain amount of time.
They'll struggle with whoever they're playing.
Right, exactly. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the beauty of the schedule that's upcoming is the opportunities are there for the Dolphins, at least. That's the good thing, that if you look at that schedule,
opportunity to get to 500.
I don't care, bro. Winning is winning. That's
yeah.
Omar, Omar, do you want to cover losing or do you want to cover winning?
No, I want to cover winning. Yeah. No
okay,
question.
So that's my point.
My thing is, let's focus on getting to 500. Let's focus on, and from their standpoint, they're all focused on saving jobs and getting to 500. And
well, that's their problem. I'm just saying, as the team, they have an opportunity to win some games here. And improve along the way, because they are improving slowly but surely a little bit. So at least they can build on that.
Are they, or are they playing bad teams? And that's the question I have to ask myself, because I don't know. Like, the Jets are not a good team.
I know, but if you're consistently winning, I have to give you credit for that, Omar.
Oh, I'm giving you credit for winning, but you're
by the way, the good team you played, you thoroughly embarrassed.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
That has to be
maybe you played down to your competition a little bit with Houston and the Jets, and then you got psyched up for the Ravens.
They played to the level of your competition.
But at least they won, which you could play to the level of the competition and then lose to the Raiders.
But I made this argument to you. I think I made this argument to you a couple of weeks ago. If you say you get that Will Fuller PI call, you're at the one, you score, game over, and you don't botch it against Jacksonville, where your coach just gets thoroughly outsmarted, and they win the game.
Yeah,
you would be what would they be now? They would be
6-5.
They'd be 6-5. We'd be like, good team, right? Yes.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I was looking at it this morning. After everything that's said and done, Justin Herbert and the Chargers have 2 more wins more than the Dolphins. That's it.
Man, did he look good last night?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he does. Well, but again, he drops back, and that pocket is clean, dude. There's so much space between him and the line. I can put a bed down and have sex with my wife in between. You know what I'm saying?
Don't do that.
I'm just saying, there's just a lot of space.
Don't do that. That 90 rushing, he evaded a lot of pressure and he escaped the pot. like 90 rushing yards, 382. I didn't even finish the game. I didn't know how it ended. I literally looked it up while
Yeah, he played
we
well
were
last night.
talking.
But they have such a good team, and Keenan Allen is a freaking monster, dude. We don't have anybody like that on our team here, unfortunately. We don't have a Keenan Allen.
You had one in the Jarvis Landry. You let it go.
No, don't even insult Keenan Allen like that. Are you out of your mind? Keenan Allen is an elite receiver. Jarvis Landry moves chains. Keenan Allen is a star, bro. You compare him to,
Jarvis
the
isn't a star.
top-notch receivers.
Hold on, wait. Jarvis isn't a star?
Not like Keenan Allen. He's a notch under Keenan Allen. Trust me. No. Keenan Allen carries offenses, dude. He's a legit number one.
And
Jarvis Landry is not.
Hold on, Jarvis hasn't carried offenses?
No, not the sorry-ass Dolphins. That's not an offense. I'm talking about real offenses. Keenan Allen is like Mark Clayton. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
Keenan Allen is a star receiver. Keenan Allen
is having a bad season.
Who?
Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, of course
I didn't even know that.
You don't watch anything but the Dolphins because you're a beat guy, dude. You're too busy watching the Dolphins. I get to watch the league. Season. That's why I gamble in the whole league, because I watch the whole damn league. That's the difference. I go home and watch these stupid games after that. Yeah, man. But anyways, Jarvis is a number two on his best day, probably more of a beast of a slot. But Keenan Allen is a star receiver, bro. I mean, we don't have anything like that here on this team. Nobody is like that, unfortunately. He's what he is? Do you put Jarvis Landry in Stephon Diggs category?
Jarvis Landry and Stephon Diggs category? Hell no. But okay. Stephon Diggs is a top 5 receiver.
This is why I know you don't watch Keenan Allen a lot, because Stephon Diggs and Keenan Allen are the same guys. They're number one monsters. They are the guys that every defensive coordinator has to scheme against every single time. Okay, where's Keenan Allen going to be? We got to double this mother. We're talking about perennial Pro Bowler, man. We're talking about a perennial all-star, all-pro.
Jarvis is the perennial Pro Bowler. But yes.
You're right. That's why I went to all pro. I'm sorry.
Okay, perennial all pro. Okay,
that's fair. Yeah. He's one of those kind of cats. We don't have
the numbers look very similar, but yes, I'm and don't disrespect. I'm not disrespecting Keenan Allen, because I think he's a very good player.
He's awesome.
He's got a lot of the dog. He catches everything. He's got a lot of the intangibles that it takes to win. Question is, I don't know if you insert Keenan Allen on this team and they're drastically better.
Well, not drastically, but they may have an extra win or two, just because that's the kind of dude that you just throw it to him and he's going to catch everything in sight. I mean, he made a catch last night that was just absolutely sick, man. And again, and toughness he brings to the table. And he's had his share of injuries too. But overall, man, Keenan Allen is a freaking monster. Dude.
But that's Jarvis. Jarvis is a toughness too.
But the athleticism level, it's at another level with Keenan, bro. Up in the air and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I'm telling you, you need to watch him more.
Air catches too.
No, not like this guy. You're not. Seriously, Omar, I love you, but you're not watching really Keenan Allen. You cannot. If you didn't put Stephon Diggs in his category. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs are the same kind of monsters. They're monsters. They're like, an AJ Brown in Tennessee. They are, they're elite receivers. They are those kind of dudes that a few of those guys that are around the league, Devonta Adams, that kind of guy. That's what Keenan Allen is. He's one of those type of dudes. What's the name of the monster in Seattle? Metcalf. That's what Keenan Allen is. He's one of those kind of guys, is my point. So I would love to have him here with the Dolphins. Oh, man. That would be absolutely fantastic. All right. O-line, no sacks. Were you able to look at the tape again? I don't know if you not yet. What were your thoughts overnight after you got to marinate a little bit more?
Tua's pocket presence. That's all Tua.
Yeah.
But I knew that I wrote a column about I wrote a column primarily about Tua and what we saw against the Jets, which are a bad defense, but this is about as good as it's going to get for you as a team. Like, if you think about the offensive execution, this is as good as it gets. Like what you saw against the Jets, 24 points get to the league average. Let me bring up my column so we can cite 380 something yards, 100 and what 15 yards rushing. Okay, let me get 388 yards, 8 of 14 on third downs, 2 of 4 in the red zone, 2 of 2 goal going in. And when I say 2 of 4, 2 touchdowns and 4 red zone opportunities, 2 touchdowns in goal line opportunities, 24 points getting to the league average, to 108 quarterback rating. What'd they rush for? 100 and
They did good, man.
115 rushing yards, even though it was 3.5 yards per carry. They running a 4-minute offense, eating up 6 minutes. They call it a 4-minute offense because the hope is that they can eat up 4 minutes of game clock. They ate up 6.
I remember you asked him about that long drive. Yeah.
I initially tweeted out like, what the hell are you doing in this situation? There are 8 minutes left and you're running your 4-minute offense. No, you need to try to score again other than try to sit here and kill clock. And lo and behold, I was wrong. Their 4-minute offense actually worked. Their line didn't bitch up. And I was just like, hold up. This is the team that I thought we would be seeing this season. Like, offensively, they, even though they got nothing but fragile, injury-plagued receivers, guys showed up and played. We know we can count on Jalen Waddle, but Max showed up. Durham Smythe showed up. Mike Gesicki played well.
All those guys normally show. Those guys you just talked about are the only guys you normally can count on, actually.
Yeah. But you add a running game to it, and this is the best. It's not going to get better than that. Like, if it does, then we're like, holy hell. Like, what do we have here? But Tua throwing the longest pass of his NFL career. Like, if you watch that as a Dolphin fan and you turn your nose up to, they only scored 24 points, or, found something to complain about, or, it was only the Jets and the Jets defense sucks. Like, you have problems that are much bigger than this team's record or how they play or their struggles, because there was nothing to complain about. Like, that was a good offensive performance. I would say,
man.
The defense did perform.
And a road win, by the way, which again, I know the Jets aren't a good team, but the Dolphins aren't a great team either, and they still went on the road.
Beaten good teams.
Yeah, and the Jets have beaten good teams. Yeah, exactly. So to go on the road and win this game, that's another thing that I'm impressed with. I like what I saw from them this week. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. The way the secondary is playing, this is a good opportunity. Also, I think they should be able to take advantage here.
Yeah, you gotta hope you get Brandon Jones. That's another guy I gotta add to my list of guys who got injured that we gotta closely monitor.
Love that kid.
I know you do.
Big fan of him.
He made plays. Got a big. I thought that hit would have put Flacco out the game.
Yeah, that kid. That's what I like about him. He has a knack for both safeties. Miami found themselves 2 safeties that just have a knack for being around the ball and making plays and just making things happen, man. It's a lot of fun to watch those 2 guys play. It's a really nice young. I don't think we've seen a young safety tandem like this for the Dolphins in a long, long time.
You made me think.
Yeah, I
remember the last good one was Ronaldo Hill and Jeremiah Bell. You can come up with a better one?
No, I'd have to go deeper to go back to Walker and what was the other kid's name in the Jimmy Johnson era, right before they got Brock Marion. They had Walker and they had another kid there.
I was thinking Brad.
Or I could go also to Jarvis and what's it called? Oh, God, now I'm brain farting. Somebody will help me out there with Jarvis back in the day. It was Jarvis. It was weren't they both Florida Gators? I think they were both.
I don't even remember Jarvis.
No, this is a long time ago.
Yeah,
long time ago. How about there it is, Jarvis Williams and Lewis Oliver. Thank you, Jarvis Williams and Lewis Oliver. That's probably where I have to go back and go with two young guys that we were excited with. I mean, we love Louis. Louis wasn't a very good cover guy. He was a thumper. He would hit the hell out of you, but if he missed a hit, you were going to get a play on Louis. You know what I mean? But maybe we'll go back to then. Good job, by the way, whoever that was. Duck Dog. Nice job by you, sir. Thank you. One more thing before I let you go. We see the scripted play at the beginning of the game, and it's beautiful. Everything works out. We saw one of the players come to the podium and talk about how, it's like we know what's coming and it's scripted. We make no mistakes and all that. But then when it's off script, it becomes a whole different ball game, and it becomes a mission. And to be honest, Omar, to me, it becomes a real indictment on your coaching staff. That, yeah, you can do what you prepared for all week, and then after that,
you have to make adjustments. But
and you should have coached your players up to adjust with you. That's part of the game, and yet we're not seeing that, Omar. And then so there's this. It's a peak, and then there's this valley.
It comes down to it's something that's very clear and evident, and we talked about it today in the press conferences that I'm tardy for your show because they decided to have press conferences at 10 a.m. at the last minute, and
all good. We're digital, baby. We adjust. It's all good. It's all good.
They have been practicing better at a higher level since the midseason, since they went to 1-7, and it has been, and Flores, Elijah Campbell, who we'll probably never speak to ever again because he gave up the goods, was basically said, Flo really sat them down and said, we're going to play a completely different style and brand of football, and we're going to change up everything we're doing, and we're going to practice harder, and we're going to turn this around, and we believe in you, and blah, blah, blah. It was a team meeting and team speech. And it was a buy-in. It was basically buy-in, just like you and these Bitcoins. And you're going to give me, after Christmas, you're going to just tell me what to do. And I'm going to do it. Just tell me what to do, and I'm going to do it. Okay? But I'm going to buy in. You're going to be my Brian Flores. But
I wish you would have done it over the last year since I've been talking about it, because you'd be up by a lot of money right now. A lot of money.
I'm scared, but I need to get over the fear.
It's part of it's education first. Education is what overcomes the fear. That's all it is. It is intimidating because it was intimidating for me. Same thing. But once you get in on it and you understand it and you read up on it and you study and you follow it, then you'll understand everything that's going on. And then you'll have a good feel for it. You know what I'm saying? That's what right now, that's what I feel like I have, is a really good feel for what's going on in the crypto market.
So they have been practicing at a higher level than what they had previously been practicing. And they never gave up. They never panicked. And I got to give Flores a lot of credit, because keeping a team that loses 7 straight games together and keeping them believing and keeping them buying in and keeping them from finger pointing. Hell, the organization was finger pointing.
Second time he does it, by the way.
This is a third.
Second time he loses 7 games in a row and is not losing the team, is my point.
Yeah, first time it's not that hard. This is
still 7 games, bro. You're still, every week that you're preparing and the results don't come. Dude, you've been around pro players. Now, he was lucky. They were all young, so that's all different. Yeah. They stay hungry dogs.
Different. Yeah, I think this is different. This is a whole different animal here, because, I would argue with you, 2019, that's Fitz. I'm sorry. I'm not giving Flo credit for that.
I got you.
That's Fitz. Fitz got you at least 4 of the 5 wins you have. This season, and I want to.
By the way, you still had to play the kind of defense that allows Fitz to win the game.
True, fair. Okay. That's fair. That's true and accurate.
It's still a team
game. But Fitz put the team on his shoulders and won the game. So
it's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
I get you.
And in this situation, it's not like Tua's putting the team on his shoulders, because they did credit this is a fourth quarter win for Tua, because they were tied in the fourth quarter, and Tua delivered this is one of 3 fourth quarter wins in his career. And I kind of it's kind of watered down, but I'll take it. I'm sure he'll take it, but it's not like Tua is carrying the team, but no. Tua does make the team better.
Oh, yeah.
The drives, the efficiency, as I said to you yesterday, and I will continue to say this, remove Buffalo from the equation of all his games. Just take Buffalo out. Let's just take Buffalo out and say, okay.
Every quarterback in the whole season says, hey, can I take that Buffalo game out of my whole thing?
Yeah. Just take
Buffalo out. By the way, the coach that we played last or yesterday benched the guy after Buffalo and started Flacco. You know what I'm saying? Mike White had a great outing a couple weeks back, and then last week he plays against Buffalo and looks like dog crap because that happens to a lot of people who play Buffalo. And the coach was saying, "Oh no, yeah, he must be the problem." No, dude, it's Buffalo.
It's Buffalo. It's Buffalo. But you take Buffalo out of the equation,
except for yesterday, by the way. Buffalo had no answers yesterday for Jonathan Taylor.
I don't even know what they did. But
Jonathan Taylor had 5 touchdowns yesterday, 4 on the ground, 1 in the air, and the Colts kicked Buffalo's ass. They didn't beat them; they kicked their ass. They punched them in the mouth and shoved the ball right down their throats, and they couldn't do a damn thing about it. It was impressive. Now they have a line.
Yeah. But to the point, if you take Buffalo out of the equation, and outside of Tua's one bonehead pick per game, which has been consistent, and we don't know where the hell this is coming from, what's causing it.
He's young, bro. He's young. He's trying to force and make plays.
He's so much better than that. He's so much better than that.
When you give him a real line and a running game, and everybody all the receivers are complimentary and all that, you'll see him make less mistakes. But when you're on a bad team, you guys sometimes will force the issue as a young player. Yes, Omar, that's the way it is.
He is so much better than that. You got to take that play out of it, because that Peyton Manning is a genius. His IQ is through the roof. He threw 25 interceptions his rookie year, my brother. We're not a rookie.
We are actually. Has he played 16 games?
5. You win.
Okay.
You win. After next Sunday, he's no longer a rookie. You win.
Amen.
That's fair. That is absolutely 100% fair. He is still a rookie. Jesus Christ. I can't even believe he still hasn't even played 16 games and he's playing like this.
And that's why the criticism is just over the top. But go ahead.
It is what it is, bro. The criticism is what it is, and I don't want people to feel sorry for him. Like, don't feel sorry for him. He's not a charity case. Tua will never have to work a real job ever in his life because
I still feel sorry for David Carr to this day, bro. And I'm not a Texans fan. I'm sorry. I disagree with you on that. I mean, I feel sorry for Steve Bartkowski. I feel sorry for Archie Manning. I feel sorry for Ernie Banks. I disagree with you. I'm a sports fan, and I've lived it. I felt sorry for Walter Payton until Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan came to town and changed everything for him. And he was just running into walls and carrying Bob Avellini and was it Vince Bob Avellini, and what was the other guy? Vince something. They were terrible quarterbacks, dude. So this has happened over the history of time where good players go to places where there's dysfunction, and you see Steve Young in Tampa and he looks like a disaster. And then he goes to Bill Walsh in San Francisco and their structure. So I disagree with you, bro. I do feel sorry for some players that do end up in situations that you knew that if their talent was placed somewhere else, they might have had a different career.
Everybody would have had a different career if their talent was placed somewhere. If Noah Abenagni had played for another team that didn't have 2 upper echelon cornerbacks, he probably would have had a better career. He probably would have a better career.
He might be already developed into a decent player. He might be out of the league. We don't know, but you're right. You're right.
But I don't want nobody. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for Tua. Tua's not a charity case. Tua's gonna have his chances, his opportunities. He's gonna, Look at how much better he makes this line. The RPO makes this offense go. Why they can't run the RPO with Jacoby Brissett? I don't know. That's damn incompetence to me. But like, is Tua that magical in the RPO that it just doesn't even look the same? You change quarterbacks and you got to change your entire offense. Like,
Yeah, because mentally it's different, because athletically it's different, because Tua's a quick twitch athlete that he can make quick decisions and move. Brissett is slow. He's Byron Leftwiches.
I don't know if he's a quick tick.
That's not a real word, but I kind of made it. So he's a little Byron Leftwish. And so he has this long ass delivery. And so what he reads and reacts, it's a lot slower than Tua. Tua reads and react quickly. It's like Marino. Marino had the radar and he'd find it quickly, boom, and the pass was there. You know,
I said this to somebody. I said this to somebody yesterday, and I truly do believe this and feel this. If you combine who Tua is as a quarterback with the body and arm of Ryan Tannehill, you'd have a top 3 quarterback in the league.
Oh, amen. There's no doubt in my mind. Amen.
Durability, body, and arm of Tannehill with Tua's accuracy, anticipation, quick decision making, diagnosing skills, ability to read the RPO. It'd be unworldly.
That's right. Dr. Frankenstein would have a field day building quarterbacks in the NFL. It would be a beautiful thing. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Catch his work at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Oh, as always, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking some time. We'll catch up later in the week.
All right. Talk to you later.
You got it. There you go. That's our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. Guess who's next? It's Ira Winderman, baby, and the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843. Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
There he is, baby, the man, the myth, the legend. Yes, hanging out in the hotel room. How you feeling? Are you feeling good?
You know, too much road, so much road early this season, and it's just interesting. I'm not going to talk about cities. Oh, you can talk about your travels later, but the Heat had a chance after Saturday's game to go to Detroit. They didn't go on Sunday. Today, they are practicing in Washington at Georgetown before they leave later in the day. So they're minimizing their Detroit time. Say what you want about Detroit, but leave that to Motor City to other people. So still trapped here in Washington, certainly feeling the leftovers of the loss on Saturday. But overall, again, you know what? You play a team consecutive games, you spank them in your place, you know they're going to come back stronger. So I think you just move on. And you know what, the Heat's last 3 losses, road losses, all each by 3 points. And I think the one thing you would say you want out of your team is be competitive. And hell, if Bam Adebayo's 94-foot throw hits the back iron, pops up and goes in, you're in overtime in that game. So I don't think you can dwell or harp on what's wrong with the Heat. There are small, subtle, fixable things you have to address.
Although, you know, I love Jimmy's fire after the game. And because what I love about Jimmy is that he dishes it and he can take it too at the same time. And and what I love is, you know, normally you would have Riley keeping your team on an edge and sending messages through us, because that's how it was on the beat. And I remember Eric is not necessarily like that kind of dude. Mm-hmm. And so I, you know, for many years, I've always thought that that's also why you keep UD around, because Eric's not the guy that, rattles cages and all that kind of stuff and rah and all that. Riley was much more of a motivator, and he can get into you emotionally and all those kind of things. You know, Eric's more cerebral. You know, that's more of what he is. And you need a Butler on this team to kind of keep the team on edge. Lowry will know how to handle this, and PJ Tucker and all that, but he needs to tweak those young guys to make sure, because, you know, in that game, you had 2 big-ass leads, including the one for 10 points with 5 minutes left. and you got to find a way to finish that game off. Let's just call it like we see it. Plus, if Washington is so upstart, if Washington is a threat, you also want to keep sending the messages that, hey, yeah, you guys are good, but we're better. You gave them a little life the other night.
And you know what? I wrote in the Sun Sentinel going into that game. Last year, tiebreakers really came into play. Remember that last week of the season,
Right.
They had to beat Boston
Right.
twice to avoid the play-in. If they had beaten Atlanta once more, they would have been division champions, would have been a home seed against the Knicks. You never know. Washington might be for real, and they're in your division. And if they are, in a 4-game season series, 2-0 is a lot better than a 1-1 split and having to go to other tiebreakers. I like Jimmy's frustration. Oh, you are spot on about Eric Spoelstra. It reminds me of a story I've told you on this show and our other shows over the years also. Way back in the years, I used to sit with Kevin Lockery at hotel bars. Each guy would walk in and Kevin would go, that guy stinks. That guy can't play. That guy's terrible. That guy's, and he just, go through them all. That's not Eric Spoelstra. Eric sort of saw how other coaches dealt with people, feels you have to build a relationship. He might say that privately, but he's not going to go publicly like Pat Riley does when he talks about hidden emojis and smiling faces about LeBron.
Shrinking violets.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
But Jimmy, I thought was perfect. Now, one, from my standpoint, I'm always looking for a good quote and a good story.
Right.
Jimmy gave me both. As soon as Jimmy talked after the game, I said, go back to the hotel, transcribe that. That's my Sunday story. Get it out of the way before the Dolphins play. It was gold. He spun gold for me. But I also think he spoke the truth. But I'm going to put one on you, Big O. I don't know how much of the game you caught or didn't, but the situation at the end of the fourth quarter, Tyler Hero was giving them plenty of offense, but he was also playing Tyler Hero defense. So I think the Heat might have a decision to make here. Can Tyler be the closer when in almost every pick and roll, if you go back and watch the end of that game, it was that guy. We're going to put that guy into the washing machine. You've spoken to me about this. We've spoken here on the Accurate Pembroke Pines Report during the season about if Victor Oladipo's in that spot, he gives you offense and he gives you defense. But it's interesting. Just like they try to hide Duncan Robinson at the end of games when Duncan Robinson isn't hiding himself. So I think it's just really interesting. If you want to play at that elite level, if you're going to have closing time like they've had, can you have a minus defender there if you think his offense makes up for it? There's a whole bunch of issues there at play. But I think it'll be interesting to see how Eric Spoelstra handles closing time going forward.
Yeah, no, you're right, because I know what you're already thinking. Like a Caleb Martin would fit better in that situation.
Defensively, yes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But the question is, can you count on him offensively? And then the problem is to kind of piggyback off of everything you're saying. And if you're Eric Spoelstra, you're going, well, I can put Caleb Martin in there, and then I'm better on the perimeter on defense. And on those pick and rolls, I'm going to be stronger. But then I'm going to have to rely on maybe a Jimmy Butler shot, an open shot, and that's not reliable like he did the other night when he had to shoot that three, and obviously he didn't make it.
And there's another point here, if I could just jump in, and that's this. Because Jimmy is your closer, for better or worse, most of the time he'll get to the foul line, he'll do good stuff. Because Tyler has been one of the leading fourth-quarter scorers in the NBA the entire season. And like that, I think, and I wrote this today in my Ask Ira at sunsentinel.com, I think Kyle defers too much at the end. I think he sees Jimmy's the go-to guy. He sees Boy Wonder coming on, and he's more of a playmaker. Big O, Kyle Lowry has scored 15 total points in the last 2 games. He has been outscored by P.J. Tucker 29-15 in the last 2 games. I appreciate Kyle's mindset. I'm going to get the other guys going. I'm going to set up the best play. I just don't think you spend $85 million over 3 years to get a fourth quarter setup guy. So I think that's another factor of this Tyler Hero breakout is I think Kyle Lowry's willing to be a third wheel in the fourth quarter. It's got to be more than that if you have championship visions.
Okay, let me piggyback off of that. This is a great conversation. I love this because I think what Tyler's doing right now is he's in the developmental stage of the team right now, but he is a little bit of an SOB. So I think that as the season goes on and as we get into the second half of the season and into the playoffs, he's not going to wait for those guys if they're not answering the bell as the season goes on. So if they continue their failures, he will then raise his responsibilities, and then he will go Gordon Gekko on you and get greedy and go and take the shots that he has to take and force the issue like what you want. But I think right now he's kind of trying to see if he can help develop and bring the young guys along, because obviously he's smart enough to know as a leader that we're better if we're stronger together if we bring everybody along and we're a deeper team. But I think when push comes to shove, it's Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry having a little drink after the game and sharing a glass of wine and saying, hey, listen, the youngins aren't doing it. We gotta step it up. We gotta start doing a little bit more. And I think that'll happen as the year goes on if the young guys don't fill that void.
And even if they do, Kyle Lowry in more than half his games has scored in single digits this season.
Yeah.
There has to be more. You might tell me it's early, and I agree with that, Big O, and we have to have perspective. But right. I've seen too many Heat late season tiebreaker scenarios, one more win here, one more win there, making all the difference in the world. I know it's cliche to say a win in November means as much as a win in March. It probably doesn't, because you're talking late season momentum, and I get all of that also. But I think you want to find yourself at a certain point. You want to find yourself by December 15th, the first day players signed in the offseason can be traded. You want to find yourself by February 10th, the NBA trading deadline. You want to find yourself by March 1st, the NBA buyout deadline. So sooner rather than later, you have to say to yourself, what's this going to look like in the playoffs? Is it good enough in the playoffs? Is it the right mix? Or do we have to move on?
Injury-wise, how is the team doing right now?
Well, it's all of a sudden, it's always something different. We know that Bam Adebayo has the bruised knee, and it's a problem. And every single day he goes out before the game with Malik Allen, the assistant coach for big men, works out, reports to the locker room. They literally measure his swollen left knee, and if it's too big, he doesn't play. Well, you've got a back-to-back coming up. Tuesday in Detroit, Wednesday in Minnesota. Do you spot him in one of those two games? For example, Detroit not as good at center, but obviously Bam loves going against Karl Anthony Towns to show him that he's the next big thing. Would not be surprised if they sit Bam one of those two games. So you have that going on. Now you have Duncan Robinson with the knee bruise. Well, we've seen knee bruises with a bunch of players. That can keep you out for a while. I don't know if it sets the team back that much the way Duncan is playing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, he hasn't shot well,
No, he's been playing very poorly, and he's been getting in that stupid foul trouble again. So you have that also. But you can't break out of a slump if you're on the bench. So we're going to go to practice at Georgetown in a little while, see what the update is there, see how much he can or cannot push. It'll be interesting. If he can't play, is it Tyler Hero in the starting lineup? Is it Max Strus playing the role of Duncan Robinson? So maybe you could see down the road if this is a guy who might be an eventual starter. Remember, Duncan, even though he got 5 years at $90 million, the last year is not fully guaranteed, and that $15 million annual is a nice little trade number. It's not too big. It's not the Bradley Beal, John Wall 30-ish or something, and it's not the low minimum salaries like they have also. So I think Duncan could be their prime trade chip. So maybe this Duncan Robinson injury, if he can't play Big O, you can instead use this to try the Strus, to see if the Strus can get loose as a starter. If you have another option there, maybe you mentioned Caleb Martin before, if he could become that reserve wing that Max Strus is being counted on right now. So I think the Duncan Robinson thing, obviously you want everyone to be healthy, but it's sort of an intriguing situation as well.
And why not just say, screw it, bench Bam for a couple weeks here. Let's let his knee completely heal, and then let's get a healthy Bam.
And you might be right, Big O. But I don't know if they have a couple of weeks where they are in the standings. Again, you want to be top four and be home. You certainly don't want to be playing. I don't know if the Heat yet are in that position. I think you look at spots in the schedule. For example, let's say they sit Bam Adebayo out tomorrow in Detroit, okay? Play him Wednesday in Minnesota. They don't play again till Saturday in Chicago. So what you basically can do is you can give Bam Adebayo an entire week with just one game in Minnesota, and he can rest 6 of the other 7 days. So I think you can sort of spot this schedule also. Most of the time, we show up to practice or shoot around, and they tell us, Bam didn't work today. Good. He's been here long enough. He knows the system. He's cerebral. He can figure out what's going on without doing it at speed on the court. So I think you try to buy 3 days here, 4 days there within the schedule rather than 2 weeks somewhere, because the East, man, if you look at it, there's probably 10, 11, maybe even 12 competitive teams right now. You just never know. You'd like to build a little more schedule equity in that win column if you can.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the schedule now, and Detroit and Minnesota, but then you've got Chicago, Denver, Cleveland. Yes, folks, Cleveland is good. I don't know if you're watching basketball, but
Playing
they're
better
actually
than expected, yeah.
Yeah, wait. God, did you see this? I mean, we saw it come. Maybe not this good from Chicago. Like last night, I bet Chicago laid the 4.5
Right.
against the Knicks. They had played the night before. The Knicks were on the road, so I figured this was one of those scheduled games. Took advantage of it, but I didn't even expect Chicago to be this good. But man, Cleveland.
Well, Cleveland was, but here's the problem with Cleveland. Now, Colin Sexton's out for the season, so I think this is Cleveland's come up, and so probably the Heat's getting them in a better spot. But certainly Chicago on Saturday at the United Center. What Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball have going is remarkable.
Oh,
and I really think the Lakers and the Pelicans will regret the way they treated him. Look, we all dealt with the LeVar Ball BS at the start. We've hardly heard from him. Things like that get settled by good organizations. It's not about the dad. It's about the player. I think Chicago with Billy Donovan has found that. We haven't heard it. I mean, these ball kids have been terrific. I mean, LaMelo's been awesome in Charlotte also. So, yeah, I think Chicago's for real. Again, another reason you want to make statements. You want to get tiebreakers. So I think that would be a big Bam game. We don't know if Vucevic is going to play on Saturday. He's still been in COVID protocol. And, that's the other part of this equation.
And it's a road. And by the way, the Cleveland game is a road game, too. So,
so you have that travel going on the schedule also. But even the Chicago game on Saturday is when we talk about Vucevic being out because of COVID, you're probably going to have your COVID moment during the season. So while it's nice of you to offer Bam 2 weeks off, there's probably going to be a Heat player like Vucevic, like Jaylen Brown, like a bunch of Chris Middleton also in COVID now. Just yesterday, it was Nick Batum who didn't play for the Clippers, and he's in COVID. These are 10-day absences. These are substantial. So I think a lot of these absences might happen more organically than necessarily planned.
It's crazy, man. I mean, it's a hell of a run right now for the Heat. I just would like to see Bam healthy.
I agree.
That's what I want. That's the only reason, because obviously it's such a long season that you just want him to kind of get over that injury. And they overcompensate, and that's what you worry about. If you overcompensate for one injury, you cause another injury, and that's what I worry.
And I agree, but maybe you build enough equity in the win column. You go, hey, we're 7, 8, 9 games over 500. Okay, even if something happens with Bam out, we'd be in a better shape. They're not there right now. They could get there soon enough.
Now, is the lack of giving up some leads for the Heat, is it all on some of the players that, like Duncan, that aren't living up to the defensive issues, or is it more of a team thing right now where they've got to do a little better when they do have these leads?
I think it comes down to totally defensively. The scoring totals have been good enough. They've showed in all these games they can score. They have to get stops. And again, it's interesting. You and I spoke about defensive stoppers on this team, that if you have Oladipo in there and you have guys playing at the top of your game, you can go 1 through 5. I mean, PJ Tucker's been a revelation. He was switching out on guards and totally smothering them in that game against Washington. He's fine. But it's that weak link. The NBA is very smart. They're very crafty. There's not true zones like there are in college. You have to leave the paint. So you have to guard one-on-one. They put you through the washing machine there in the pick and roll. So if Duncan's out there, if Tyler's out there, they're picking on you. You only get 2 timeouts in the last 2 minutes. So it's not like you can constantly play offense, defense. So I think the Heat need to sort of bring that defense together. Love how PJ Tucker called the team out. Didn't mention a name, but he said they keep going after our weak link. We have to do something to cover for that, so they're not pulling triggers and running around with their heads cut off. You know what? These are good lessons. Again, these are 3-point losses to the Lakers, to the Clippers, to Washington. You can learn from them. In none of the games are you walking out of there going, we didn't have a chance. The Heat basically has had a chance in almost every game this season, save for the blowout loss against Denver and against Boston. They've been right there. Really all you can ask to this stage.
All right, before I let you go, wrap it up with this. What's going to happen with the Stewart LeBron situation from last night? Because my man was bloodied, man, and then he went maniacal. And did LeBron get away with something here?
That's interesting. Just before you called, I had an NBA scout call me, and I told him I'll call him back a little bit later when I'm done with my priority here, the Big O show and the accurate Pembroke Pines report. And he asked me what I thought. And I said, Stewart has to get multiple games. I mean, I joke with him, multiple weeks. Because, yes, I know when you see your own blood, it changes your outlook. But, man, he just kept going and going. And the NBA security issue. Okay, so you're going to let five 5'10", 190-pound assistant coaches, some in their 60s, try to tackle a guy like that. That's like saying the Dolphins are going against old men.
There was a center that got behind him finally, and
finally they corralled him.
Yeah.
To me, he gets multiple games. Will not play Tuesday against the Heat. I'm sure that's the way it comes down. LeBron has to get something. Look, I know what happened. LeBron was one of those get out of my face kind of deals. But it doesn't matter if it's intentional or not. It's the result also. And a hand and something hard to the face that draws significant blood. We'll now see how the league protects its superstars. I would think at least one game for LeBron James. It's the right thing to do. You got to send a signal. The league has been letting big physical men play this way all season. I spoke to Quinn Snyder in Utah a week ago and asked him about that while they're doing all these rules, the perimeter guys can't kick out their feet, can't create, pretend fouls. They're legislating that. There is so much going on with big men that you see the Nikola Jokic's. You see the big men getting involved more in these. I think the league needs to dial it back a little, or else we're going to see more of this. And I think because of what happened last night, and please, folks, if you haven't seen the video, don't just see that 14-second video. See the 2.5 minute one where this guy was doing everything in his power to go out there and to basically annihilate the entire Lakers roster. It might have been the single angriest moment I've seen, honestly, since the malice in the Palace. And ironically, this happened at a Detroit home game as well.
Although Robert Parrish with those two forearms on Bill Lambert's face was pretty wicked, dude.
But that's also like Kurt Rambis's clothesline. Yeah, that was old
to the
school.
point, like, I've had enough of you. But
even then, I don't think I've seen anyone with that much. I'd use the word rage. I think Isaiah Stewart brought rage to an entirely different level. He'll learn from it. But also, please, when you watch the video, look at the guy's face. I mean, this guy was like, Jerry Cooney coming out in the 12th round, or Chuck Wepner, maybe a better example there, with simply nothing left. Look, the guy, got to give him credit for the passion, and now he'll be able to marinate on that for what I would expect would be at least a week.
Yeah, I'm wondering what LeBron said to him that just set him completely off.
I don't know if it's what he said to him. I think it's the way he hit him, and I don't think Isaiah Stewart realized that LeBron was just trying to do get out of my face guy, and he took it as something far different. But you know what? It's like you see in the NFL and especially college with the targeting penalty. A lot of the times guys aren't trying to do that. They're trying to go low. They're trying not to make helmet to helmet. But like the rule says, it doesn't matter what the intent was. It matters what the result was. And the result of what LeBron James's shove, elbow, whatever you want to call it, did was crack a bone near his eye socket and start that flow of blood. That has to be a suspension.
Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Catch his exceptional work at the Sun Sentinel. Subscribe, man. Support the local journalists like I do. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. Stay safe in your travels. We'll talk to you. We got Palo Rack City.
Actually, we got to talk to you Wednesday, the Accurate Pembroke Pines Report. I'm going to get you probably by phone in 13-degree Minnesota at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. And then 9 a.m. on Friday, we'll be joined by Clay Ferraro, do our Palo Rack City Inside the Paint. So, hey, I might be stuck on the road, but the heat stuff never stops. As long as I'm not as angry as Omar Kelly, who precedes me, it's all good. Thanks, though.
It's a beautiful thing. There you go. Ira Winderman. Thank you, Ira. Ira Winderman and the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right, folks, don't forget to smash the hell out of that like button, man. Appreciate you all out there. How about that back-to-back? Omar and then Ira. Not going to get that anywhere else in South Florida. You only get it right. Yeah, that's how it goes, baby. Heat, by the way, will be back in action tomorrow against Detroit. They've got an interesting one. They've got Detroit on Tuesday. Wednesday, they're at Minnesota. And then Saturday, a really difficult game at Chicago. That's going to be a tough matchup for them. They should win the next two, but obviously the Chicago game will be a challenge. That'll be interesting. And we'll see what happens with Duncan and the knee contusion and see if he can play. And Bam, obviously, I'm with Ira. You don't play him either against Detroit or Minnesota, one of the two. You got to rest him in one of those. And maybe what you do is you play him Tuesday. That way he doesn't play again till Saturday at Chicago, and then you give him off against Minnesota. Or like Ira said, he likes playing against Karl Anthony Towns. Well, then you give him the Detroit game off. But then that gives him a couple of days only rest before the Saturday game. So we'll see how all of this is handled. Hey, look, let's not go micro. Let's go macro. They're 11-6. They're fine. They're doing just fine. All right. There's nothing wrong with them. The Panthers, they beat the Wild 5-4. The Wild did score 3 goals on Saturday night in the third period. Bobrovsky was terrific again, 35 saves. They've got Philly on Wednesday now, so we got no Oki for a couple of nights. So we have to wait till Wednesday. But the Panthers, man, 13-2-3. I mean, what a record, man. What a freaking record. 13-2-3. That is just absolutely awesome. And congratulations to the Canes. They beat Vatek 38-26 over the weekend. 4-3 in the ACC, 6-5. They are now bowl eligible. They've got Duke on Saturday at 12:30. Hopefully they will get it done and win. Van Dyke, by the way, wow. Some gorgeous passes downfield. You talk about explosive offenses, my man. Wow, that's a lot of fun. All right, if you want to get in, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there. YouTube. Remember, you can chime in on the chat board there. And let's see what else. Oh, Cash App and Venmo. You want to make a donation to the show and you want to help us grow, Cash Big O Show is the address. That's Cash Big O Show is the address if you want to send it in on Cash App and Venmo. Also, if you would like to advertise and join our family and support the show and help us grow, and you're looking for your business to grow, well, man, the beauty is we reach so many people, not just here in South Florida, but throughout the country. So whether you're local or national, it is a product that we definitely can represent here on the program as long as it's a good product. So I definitely don't want to have represent a bad product. But if you have a great business out there that needs some representation, we are available. You can reach out to me on the text line at 855-912-1056 if you're interested in advertising. Also on Twitter, you can hit me on the DMs. They are always open there on Twitter at Big O Show. I see Crow is at almost 74 cents right now. The market is a little down at this point. Bitcoin's at 58,000. It's been right around the same place. It's kind of been consolidating kind of where it's at between 57 and 60, 61. It's kind of been stuck there. Ethereum's at 42.60 right now, down a little bit. Ethereum is down 3.2%, really not much. And Bitcoin is down 2.7%. Again, this is nothing for things like that. Solana, by the way, is up 3%. It's up to $225. Solana is so good. Avalanche, another great one, up almost 4% at $143 a coin. So you got some. Elrond, very good. Somebody was asking me, you know what? Somebody had a crypto question on the chat board. I forgot. And I think they were asking me, let me see if I can find it here, because it was early, I think, where they were asking me about something. And I don't know if the gentleman or the lady is still that asked on there, but I know they were asking me about Stellar and something else. I think it was Algorand. And I like Algorand. I think it'll grow. I like Stellar, but Stellar's kind of a slow grower. So if you have patience, then yeah, but Stellar has a lot of competition now. I had Stellar. I divested my Stellar into Polygon. Polygon, I think, is just going to grow a lot more and faster. Plus, I get to stake it at 12%. So it's, it multiplies like rabbits for me. So I kind of like it that way. You know what I'm saying? But Algorand, I definitely like too. I think that's a good one. I'm not invested in it. I can't invest in every coin. Look, I like Avalanche, great coin. I don't have any. I like Solana, don't have any. Great coin. I mean, I can't invest all of them, and I wish I could. I wish I was rich. You know what I'm saying? What can I tell you? Antonio Abraham says Gesicki gets better every year. Jones and Holland in some time might become one of the best dual safeties in the league. Holland flies around, and I love how they use him as a blitzer. Yeah, both guys can blitz. I think Miami has really found themselves a really nice safety tandem. I really do. I think they need to keep this unit together and gel. First, get rid of Jesse Davis. Jones and Holland, give them some more time, and they can be one of the best duos in the league. What else here do we have? What else? Omar should be one of those. Oh God, you guys are undisputed. You say the red, green. He says green or said red. Okay. I mean, listen, we all disagree, and it's sports, man. But there's no way I'm putting Jarvis Landry in Keenan Allen's class. No, Jarvis is a good receiver. Don't get me wrong. Solid receiver, not a number one. That's why I would have never paid him here, because he's not a number one wide receiver. But he is a number two, maybe a slot guy. That he definitely is. And he does a good job of that. But Keenan Allen is a star, dude. Absolute star. Let me see. What else do we have here? A ton of other comments going on. Folks, don't forget to please smash the hell out of the like button. Very, very important to smash the like button. Rosendo says, that's why I can't pick on the players. It's more bad coaching that makes this offense bad. Even Davis and Jackson might have a future if they develop the right way. You're probably right, Rosendo. I mean, you're along with me. You believe coaching has been a real problem there. And by the way, Rosendo, thank you for coming yesterday to Sports Grill. Appreciate you. Josh was there yesterday too, without the president. Alexa was not there, but Josh was in the house. We had several people go by, man. I can't remember all the names, but appreciate all of you that did go by. And come on, we're 3-0 in Bird Road. 3-0. Okay? Imagine if we would have started the season in Bird Road. We would be undefeated right now. Never lost the game. It's crazy. So you got to join us next week. All right? Sports Grill, Bird Road, 11 a.m. The Fins Tailgate says, can't send a super chat because of creating mode. But me and my went to our first Canes game, and we swung by Canesware and let them know we came from Cape Coral because we love you, bro, in the show. Thank you, my brother. And listen, forget the super chat. If you can't get it done, do Cash App or Venmo. And by the way, you all should open a Cash App account. I mean, Cash App in the last couple of weeks has given away $2 million in Bitcoin. So what the hell, man? It looks, and they gave away $2 million in stocks, and I think they're still giving it away. So it behooves you to get a Cash App account because they might just drop a little money in your Cash App account if you retweet them and all that stuff. So if I'm you guys, I would get not so much. I'm not telling you to get a Cash App account or Venmo because to make a donation to our show. If you want to do that, that's great. But actually, there have been some opportunities, the last couple of weeks here by Cash App. And I'm sure they're going to do that again where they'll drop. And eventually it's going to get to Ethereum and ADA and they're going to have other cryptos because they're selling crypto on Cash App. So they're going to want to probably, do more of that. And so you never know. A little free money drops into your Cash App. Big O, would love to see you put out your top 10 or 20 crypto list. Well, I mean, I can make a top 10. Okay, remember, not a financial advisor, just a geeky sports guy that loves crypto. That's it, okay? As long as you all know that and understand that and you do your own homework, I'll do it. But Darren, I will put out my top 10 coins tomorrow. How about that? Okay? I'll put out my top 10 favorite coins tomorrow. I will let me put that list together. I will do it for you. Okay. Let's see what else. Big D says, Omar never quits with his Tua negativity, but he loves him. Yeah, right. Too bad Miami Lakes is the juju on the fins. Bird Road is Hialeah lit. Maybe Van Dyke will be our QB of the future if Tua don't pan out. If they don't get a line, Tua won't pan out because he won't stay. He won't stay healthy. Get him a line in a running game. Get him an offensive line coach, and he'll be all right. Diane Mayer says, Big O, we were in Hawaii for the Ravens game. I knew if Tua would play, we would win because we were in Maui bringing Tua good luck. Nice, Diane. There you go. So, Diane, how fat was the spliff you smoked in Maui? That's the question we really want to know. Okay? Because nobody goes to Maui and not have a little Maui wowie. I'm just saying, if when in Rome, right? Daniel Grafton, Metaverse, baby. Can't wait. Looking into video games that are coming. Yeah. You want Metaverse? Star Atlas is Metaverse. That's a good one for you. Engine Coin's been blowing up, but I've been talking about Engine Coin and Decentraland for 8 or 9 months already. So all of you already knew about Decentraland and what's it called? Those were coins that we talked about a long time ago, and now Engine has soared, and Engine hasn't even gotten to its original height of $4 yet. It's like at $3.30 or something like that. So a lot of you took advantage and you bought it, under $2. Some of you were lucky to get it at 90 cents when we had that market. I mean, that market correction was a gift to people, like a gift. When that market correction came and Ethereum went down all the way to 1750, 1800 and all that, and people are like, well, if you've never invested, you're like, well, that's still expensive. Yeah. Now it's over 4,000, going to be pushing 5 very soon. Investing at 1800 seems like one hell of a deal. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's so you got to take advantage of them dips. So the Metaverse is definitely a place that you want to invest. It's funny how everybody's talking about Metaverse now. Those of you that have been following the show, I was talking about Mana and Engine Coin, all these other coins 8-9 months ago before everybody started talking about the Metaverse now, and because Facebook went to Meta and all this other stuff. And so now, Mana is exploding. Although my buddy keeps checking in with me, regretting that he sold all his Decentraland. And I told him that's, you got to have patience in crypto. Patience is a virtue. Rock Newman says, love your show, Big O. All kidding aside, brother, you're honest as important, real with your sports knowledge. Well, thank you, Rock. I appreciate it, my brother. I'm just a regular dude that passionately follows sports. That's it. That's all, man. Nothing more, nothing less. You know what I mean? But I appreciate you supporting us and enjoying the show, man. It means a lot. It really does. I'm always flattered when I meet all of you out there and you tell me about how much you love the show and watch the show and all that. I truly appreciate it. Dr. J says, Big O, can we get the OC from American Heritage? Their scheme is more complex than the Finns. Daniel says, you got your lemon and tea? Yes, I do. I'm been drinking lemon and honey is what I've been drinking. Although today I did not have my lemon and honey. I have not had it yet. I do need to have my lemon and honey. You know what I do need now? I need a break because it's hour number 3. That is next.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Fly Pablo in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show O's on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, Big O, no one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727, or online at adreamlending.com. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. There we go. Hour number 3. Really, it's already into hour number 3 as it is. But thank you as we rested a little bit here on the program. Appreciate all of you as always. If you want to get in, it's really simple. 855-912-1056 is the text line. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the text line, let me see if I can answer a couple of your texts that have come in today. Herbert's third quarter history to have 350 passing yards of 75 rushing in the game last night. Yep. Yep, that's he's done a nice job. He has put up some pretty good stats overall. Big O George here. Question: did you see Brian Flores' video talking to the media about he puts his players first and saves them from themselves? Yeah, no, but that's. I mean, but what do you mean? What was wrong with what he said? I know he's trying to do that. I mean, I don't know if he really puts his players first by putting Tua out there against the Rams when he wasn't ready, but if that's what you're talking about, then yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. But I mean, it's just something that most people, use. You know what I'm saying? That they say that line about that they're all looking out for their players and all of that. And maybe he thinks he is. By the way, he might be thinking that he is looking out for those guys. Big O, the accuracy on Tua's bomb to Matt Collins was excellent. Do you think Stephen Ross will make a run at Jim Harbaugh to be the new head coach? I hope not. I hope not. I would not want to see Jim Harbaugh be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, to be honest with you. No, I don't want to see that. By the way, so I'm just wondering because, I still probably get some of you suckers out there that still are buying into Ryan Tannehill. So how's Tannehill doing lately? Now that Derrick Henry's no longer there to help him at all. What was it? 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions yesterday. So let's see. Tannehill yesterday, 4 interceptions versus Houston. Okay. I mean, didn't Jacoby Brissett beat Houston? And Ryan Tannehill can't beat Houston? 35 of 52, 323 yards, a touchdown, and 4 interceptions. This year, Tannehill has 2,681 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. I mean, but he's so good. For some of you out there that still think that, the Dolphins made a mistake. Oh, and look at Ryan Tannehill. He's doing so well in Tennessee. Meanwhile, every week I keep telling the people that don't watch football and actually really don't know football that, it's really not Ryan. He's just game managing. It's all Derrick Henry scaring the crap out of people. But meanwhile, he throws in playoff games for 70 yards and they win, and some think that it's actually him. It's hilarious, dude. Last 3 games without Derrick Henry, 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So overall, okay, it was 10 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with Derrick Henry. So they were already starting to figure him out with Derrick Henry. Because he's really not that difficult to figure out. He never has been. Let me tell you something. There is nobody, and I guess the football gods did this to him, that he came here, he took a beating and a pounding, right? And he was never really that good anyway. And half the pounding he took was his own fault because he hung onto the ball and didn't really see anything coming. But then it was like the football god said, well, son, you took a beating. You suffered a knee injury. You were stupid enough to come back without surgery. But you know what? We're going to bless you with Derrick Henry for a couple years so you can actually look like you're, a real quarterback when you're really not. But whatever. It's hilarious just to see it. Just so people can see what we're talking. Because all of a sudden, Derrick Henry's running for 150, 200 yards. And he's intimidating the crap out of every defense. And, and Ryan, to his credit, was putting up good numbers next to him. You know what I mean? But some people think like he was a real factor in all of this when he was just a complimentary piece to the hog, the boss, the man that carries the load is Derrick Henry. That's the GOAT of that team. I gotta bring on my guy by the end of the year. I'll bring him on. I'm not gonna bring him on now because the season isn't done yet. But I've had fun with him because with Teron Davenport, who covers the Titans. For those of you that have heard our conversations the last couple of years, we've gone at it, you know what I mean? Because I've never been a believer of Tannehill, just like I'm not a believer of Lamar Jackson as a passer. I know he gets by because he's such a freakish talent with his legs that it just creates a mismatch. And I understand all of that. But as a passer, that's why he never does anything in the playoffs, because eventually you'll get to the elite defenses and then they'll make you have to beat them with your arm. And that's not what he does. Now, will Lamar make a couple of terrific passes? Of course he will. He's an athlete. But he's not a quarterback, a real passer that he can make accurate passes on a consistent basis. That's the difference. But, and now you see, with no running game, he becomes a different person. You keep him in the pocket like Miami did, he becomes a different person. You know what I mean? It's funny how people don't really follow the sport and they can't decipher one without the other. And they don't see it. Like, you have people that still believe that Ryan Tannehill was a good quarterback, is a good quarterback, and then Miami made the mistake. The only mistake Miami ever made was taking him that high in the draft. That was the only mistake that they ever made. And then the second mistake was that they hung on to him for too damn long when he clearly was never the guy. Now, unless you're going to build the kind of team that they have in Tennessee, you're not going to get the kind of production you would get out of Ryan Tannehill. But if you're going to put him in a position where he needs to carry you and be the difference maker, you are going to fall on your face every single time. And that's what's happening right now in Tennessee. Right now, Mike Vrabel and company are going, yeah, he's not the guy. Yeah. I wouldn't even be surprised if Tennessee's drafting a quarterback this year. Not because they're going to replace him right away, but just because they're going to start planting the seed to replace him in the near future, because they realize that without Derek, he pretty much can't get it done. But hey, man, some of you out there that are still the Tannehill believers, knock yourself out, baby. Knock yourselves out. Let's see. What in the world is happening? Tannehill's losing to Houston. The world is turning upside down. There you go. Drago says Tannehill knows himself what he is. That's why he went where he went. Probably. The Cash App is it's Cash Big O Show. Cash Big O Show. All right, that's the address. Cash Big O Show. Look at the scroll under me. You'll see the email. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the email. You see it there. It's rolling. There's the email right there. There's the text line. There you go. Email again. And then you'll get the Cash App and Venmo address there, and it's Cash Big O Show. Okay? See, there you go. Support us. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. So there you go. Thank you. Who was that said it there? The Finns tailgate. Thank you, the Finns tailgate. Appreciate you, man. Rosendo says, still eating those chicken wings at Sports Grill yesterday. Awesome wings. If you haven't gone, guys, you need to stop by the Bird Road location and say hi to Big O and Mr. Stanley. That's right. When you see Sean, you know he's Mr. Stanley. Okay? How many yards in playoffs did Henry have before Tannehill? I don't know. You'd have to look it up. Look it up, Andrew. Do your own homework. Don't ask me a question that I don't really care what the answer is, because somehow or another you think it's Ryan Tannehill that's involved in the playoffs. The guy that throws for 70 yards in a playoff game and wins. I'd rather have Lamar than Tannehill. As long as you commit to the run game with him, I understand that. That makes a lot of sense. Because he's such a freak, man. Because he can do something with his legs that no one does in the history of the NFL. Not even Michael Vick does it. Let's see. There's some a-hole with Big O Show, and he just stole $10 off of me. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. No, yeah, no. It's Cash Big O Show. That's why I couldn't get Big O Show because it was already taken. So I took Cash Big O Show. So there you go. Because, of course, our show is money. We come through for you every day starting at 10 a.m. We're coming through for you for the Dolphins. We're coming through for you in crypto. We're coming through for you with pure passion and knowledge. The kind of stuff you won't find at QAM or 790. Big O really bothered me to see the O coordinators make that surprise facial gesture on Tua's bomb, knowing a camera fixed on him. It told me and everyone else just what he thinks of Tua's ability. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to even say about that, to be honest with you. Big O, more influential, original Black Sabbath with Ozzy or Led Zeppelin? Wow. That's a good question. And I'm going to freak you out with this. Black Sabbath by miles. By miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Do you know why Black Sabbath is more influential than Led Zeppelin? Led Zeppelin is one of the godfathers of rock, obviously, correct? But I could also say the Beatles are one of the godfathers of rock. I could also say the Rolling Stones are the godfathers of rock. I can go back and forth with several bands. Who are the godfathers of metal? There's one. There's one, and there's one, and there's only one. And that's Black Sabbath. So Jimmy Page was influential, incredibly influential, all the way to this day. All you got to do is look at Greta Van Fleet, and they have Led Zeppelin influence in their music. Their second album, they completely went away from the Led Zeppelin sound. You know what I mean? Still a great album, by the way. They did a really nice job with the new album, and they were fantastic the other night when I saw them. But obviously, Stones are influential, Beatles are influential, but we can kind of argue back and forth about their impact in rock. But Black Sabbath started heavy metal. You know, we can kind of argue a little bit about MC5 because MC5 out of Detroit was a lot of rock, hard rock, punk, and maybe a little metal in there too. You know what I mean? Because people can tell you that the origins of metal may have come out a little bit out of MC5 out of Detroit, but MC5 had so many influences in their music, and they were slightly right before Black Sabbath, but they weren't really metal, right? So I would go with the first metal band, heavy metal band. I have to go Black Sabbath. And I think Black Sabbath started everything. Started in influencing the Judas Priests of the world and the Scorpions of the world and all the metal bands that came after Black Sabbath. But I would call Black Sabbath the godfathers of metal. And with Zepp, we have to get into a discussion. And because there are bands that came before Zeppelin. And some people will tell you, no, it's not Zeppelin, it's the Stones. And how do you argue with somebody that tells you it's the Stones? You can't. It's subjective, but it's up there for discussion. I don't believe with Black Sabbath there is any discussion, okay? Bozeman Gene, thank you for chiming in, my brother. I love Kiss, but no. Not even close. I don't even want to insult Black Sabbath with that. Okay, let's put it that way. And I love Kiss. But no. Kiss is kind of those, they're rock. They're not really metal. They're rock / glam rock, actually, in a way. They're kind of stuck in between. They're not heavy metal. Heavy metal is that's the other notch above. You know what I'm saying? So Van Halen is not heavy metal. They're hard rock. So that's for me. I'm going to say Black Sabbath because Black Sabbath started an entire new sound. That's why I always tell you over the years, most of you may not even know this band. Only some of you are going to know this band, and you've got to be older, and that's Kraftwerk. A lot of people don't know about Kraftwerk, especially young people. But if you start about influence, Kraftwerk is the most influential band, one of the most influential bands ever, because they started the electronic genre back in the early 70s. They were working with synthesizers and things like that, stuff that nobody was working with or doing. They're the first ones that came out with that sound. And then that led to other things, from dance music to freestyle to the electronic era to the EDM. All of that started with Kraftwerk. Kraftwerk is right up there with the Beatles, right up there with Elvis Presley, right up there with Black Sabbath, right up there with Aretha Franklin, right up there with most of the most influential musicians of all time. Okay? Beach Boys, whatever. Kraftwerk is right there. Nobody takes anything away from Kraftwerk, because just like Black Sabbath, they started a genre of music that was so influential that to this day, that genre of music exists because of the roots that they started. So there you go. Long, drowned out question, but that's your answer. Okay? At least that's my point of view on that. Darren says, Kiss is my first concert ever back in 76 at the Sportatorium. Even though they were older and it was one of my last shows together, it was an amazing mosh pit. They were crazy. Okay, I don't know what band we were talking about. Oh, Sabbath. Okay, there you go. I saw Sabbath in West Palm in 2001, Ozfest. They were amazing. Most great metal bands were influenced by Black Sabbath, so you have to give it to them. Others, Zeppelin, Hendrix, but Sabbath wins. Yeah. Oh, no, no, Zeppelin is just as influential, but they didn't start the genre of hard rock. You know what I mean? That's the difference. That's why I only give Black Sabbath the nod, because they literally started heavy metal. That's the origins of heavy metal right there. Just like Kraftwerk for electronic music. Let's see. I think Tua has the it that so many good quarterbacks have that make them special. I'm with you, James Steele. I am so with you on that. The only thing I ever worry about with that kid is injuries, and you just have to, protect him, give him a running game, make sure he doesn't take a lot of hits. Ray says, Kraftwerk, true electronic pioneers, period. Damn right. Big O, how many great concerts did you see at the Hollywood Sportatorium? Oh, my God. Darren, it's too many, dude. From U2's Unforgettable Fire Tour to seeing Boston at the Sportatorium, Van Halen I saw in 1981 for Fair Warning. I mean, it goes on and on. Rush I saw there, Exit Stage Left. I mean, there's just we were tear gassed and everything in that one. Not that I deserved the tear gas. I wasn't breaking in or anything, but if you were there, you smelled it or whatever, that kind of stuff. I've seen Kiss at the Sporto. I have seen Kansas. Oh my God, Kansas concert at the Sporto. Styx. So many good ones, man. Iron Maiden. My God, the Peace of Mind tour was there. Woo, doggy. That was awesome. Seeing it was Bon Jovi opening up for the Scorpions. Seeing Motley Crue open up for Ozzy. It was the Speak of the Devil tour with Brad Gillis, and Motley was in their Shout at the Devil tour, and it was before Shout at the Devil completely took off that they then became headliners after. They came back as headliners. I remember going to Peaches Records to go meet Motley Crue and then go to the concert at the Sporto and go see them. I mean, dude, I have to just start bringing up the memories, and I'll remember so many great concerts at the Sportatorium. It's crazy. It's too many. It's too many. Billy Batson says, freestyle for life, Big O. Have you ever heard the immigrant song? Ah, I come from the land of the ice and snow. No, I've never heard of it. Don't know anything about it. Ah! I don't know. I can't. I don't have that scream like Plant. But I've never heard of the immigrant song. I know a lot of immigrants. They probably sing songs, but I've never heard of the immigrant song. Let's see. Big O, check out Triumvirate, Germany's original progressive rock band, akin to Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Wow, that's high praise, dude. Okay, I will check it out. Let me write it down because if not, there's no way I'm going to remember that freaking name. Triumvirate. Okay, never heard of them. Tony Iommi said he lost a couple of fingertips in machinery accidents, so they gave him prosthetics, which he created that metal sound. The critics call their sound heavy metal as an insult to Black Sabbath. Well, it is heavy metal, whether Black Sabbath likes it or not, but it is heavy metal, and they started it. And he had to tape those tips. You know what I mean? At first, I know about all that story about him, and to think about what he turned out to be after that with that guitar. You know what I mean? Iommi was amazing. I saw Black Sabbath one year at the West Palm Beach Auditorium. And the West Palm Beach Auditorium, I don't know if I think the Jehovah Witnesses bought that. It was by the mall. What is it? Pembroke Lakes Road? Is that the one you get off on? I believe on I-95. And so we went, and by the way, the Plasmatics was opening up. Wendy O'Williams opened up. She came out on stage, and they hit her right away in the chest with a dildo. It was classic. Anyway, so so Black Sabbath is there, and I was right up on the stage, because back in West Palm, if you had seats close to the stage, and when the lights went down, you bum rushed the stage. And they never did anything. They let you stand there in the stage and all that stuff. So I was up against the stage the entire time, dude. And I remember that, and I'm like, I don't know, 16 years old, something like that. And at the end of the concert, Tony Iommi bends over, gives me his pick, and looks at me and goes like this. And I thought I was blessed for life. I said, dude, he gave me a pick and then went like this to me. I'll never forget that with Tony Iommi. I was like, damn, dude, the metal god did this. Yeah. It was awesome. It was awesome. And it was a great concert, by the way. I enjoyed Black Sabbath. That was, by the way, that was the Ian Gillan tour, Live Evil, which is a very underrated album. The Ian Gillan album with it's got that Devil Baby, that it's blue and red or whatever. That's an excellent album, dude. So underrated. And Gillan, of course, Deep Purple fame and all that stuff. But that's like, we all know the Ozzy era was golden. Dio had two magical albums with him. Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell are two of the greatest heavy metal albums of all time. They're two masterpieces that you play from beginning to end. But nobody really talks enough about the one album they did with Gilliam, and Ian is fantastic. It's really one of the more underrated Black Sabbath albums, and it's one of the more underrated heavy metal albums of all time, period. Doesn't get enough love. That's just me. But what the hell do I know? Big O, do you have a top 3 guitarist players of all time? I mean, dude, that's all subjective. But if you want me to give it to you, I'm going to go Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen, and I'll go Clapton. Okay? So there you go. Hendrix, Halen, Clapton. But I mean, again, it's so subjective. We can switch a couple of those guys if you want, but that'll be, if you gave me my 3, I probably will go with those 3 right there. Big O, did you ever have a chance to check out Pepper? If so, what did you think? Keep up the great work. Pepper. Is that a band? You know what? I must have forgotten about it. I'm going to write it down next to this one. Pepper. I will check it out today. When I relax today in front of the tube, I will check it out. The Immigrant Song, what it sounds like when I step on a Lego piece. Yeah, you're right about that, dude. Rosendo pressure, Tua avoids a lot of sacks. I hear we did not even give up one. No sacks yesterday. Vivian Campbell, Stevie Vai, George Lynch. Those are 3 exceptional guitarists. I got Satriani's guitar pick, which I keep like gold. Born Again, big. That's right. I'm sorry. Born Again. What did I say? Live Evil. Born Again. You are correct. I'm sorry. It's Born Again. Why did I say Live Evil? Live Evil came right after, right? That's what it was, right? That's what it was. I think that's what it is. Tua's pocket present is something special. That said, he's playing with happy feet, and it's definitely affecting his mechanics when throwing. Well, George, if you played behind that line, got beat up, whether you're slammed by Michael Brockers in the first year or broken ribs in the second year, and you haven't even played 16 games, I think you'd have some happy feet too behind a crappy line like that. Some bad calling with the refs, especially on special teams. No, and the Gesicki push-off. Are you kidding me? That was disgusting yesterday. Gesicki didn't commit any penalty. That was gross, dude. Plus, it cost me a bet. Big O, do you plan to see Led Zeppelin on tour? Hells to the yeah. What's wrong with you? What kind of question is that? If Randy Rhoads isn't in your top 3, we can't be friends. NorCal, I get you. The only problem I have with Randy being in my top 3 is his body of work, my brother. That's my problem. I love Diary of a Madman and Blizzard of Oz. Those are 2 masterpieces. Those are some of the greatest solos I've ever heard in my life. The guitar playing that guy did in those albums are awesome. And his early work with Quiet Riot, which I have, is solid too. But I cannot put Randy Rhoads' body of work next to Van Halen, next to Jimi Hendrix, and next to Eric Clapton. So that's the only reason I love Randy Rhoads. He's one of my favorite guitarists of all time, but it was such a shortened career. And that's the problem. If we would have had the opportunity to have, 3-4 more albums with him and Ozzy, it would have been amazing. 2, I would have been able to see him live at the Rock Super Bowl in 1982 because Randy Rhoads died in a plane crash 2 days before I was supposed to see him. So I would have been able to see him, which would have been just an absolute dream to be able to see Randy. And I love him, man. I'm telling you, I love Randy Rhoads. I'm a big Adrian Vandenberg fan. A lot of people don't know Adrian Vandenberg. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of goes under the radar as a guitarist too. Now, I'm not putting him in the Randy Rhoads class, but I think he's a fantastic guitarist that doesn't get a lot of love. Not a lot of people know him, and his body of work is kind of limited. He did some nice stuff with the Moon Kings the last couple of years. Obviously, the Vandenberg stuff from back in the 80s was really, really good. But, it just not enough of a body of work. Now, Randy's albums with Ozzy were legendary. But the only reason I don't have him in my top 3 is because of body of work. I can go with several others who have done a lot more over a long period of time. Like Vivian Campbell right there. It's a great example. Not only Def Leppard, but everything he did with Dio. You know what I mean? And Dio Holy Diver. My Lord, that is some that and Last in Line, the first 2 albums are just absolutely awesome. Vivian Campbell was on a roll in those days. You know what I mean? So that's why. It's just got to be body of work. Let's see. Love the show. Oh, I'll forgive you, Ozzy. Okay. Thank you for forgiving me. Big O, have you listened to Swans? No. I know Swan from the Warriors. but I have never listened to a band called Swan. I will check them out. Swans. I'm sorry. Swans. And put the S there. Swans. Don't think Big O would attend an opera. No. No, I'm not in the opera stuff. I mean, if Freddie Mercury was singing the opera, then I would go. If Linda Ronstadt was singing opera, then I'll go. You know what I mean? Has to be something freakish like that. But no, I would not. Yeah, no, I'm not an opera guy. You'll put me to sleep probably. Big O, have you ever been a fan of Southern rock? Wow. You are definitely new to the show. I'm an enormous Southern rock guy, dude. Okay. Love Molly Hatchet. Obviously, Leonard Skinner are gods. But yeah, Black Smoke. What is it? Blackberry Smoke. Some of the new Southern rock type bands. Yeah, I love Southern rock, dude. Blackfoot, all that kind of stuff. Allman Brothers. I love Southern rock. I'm an enormous Southern rock guy. Always have been. Marshall Tucker. Dude, I sung on stage with Marshall Tucker. Okay? I don't know. Do me a favor, Sean. Put on the Twitter search Big O Show and Marshall Tucker. See if it comes up a video of me on stage singing with Marshall Tucker at the Pompano Beach Amphitheater. Doug Gray and I are friends. So when Marshall comes to town, sometimes I bring him on the show and we talk and have a good time. How about that? So you think that makes me an official Southern rock fan that I got on stage and was singing with Marshall Tucker? You could find it. It's probably there on Twitter somewhere, man. There's a video of me on stage with Doug Gray singing. Not that what I do is called singing, but it's there. Did you find it, Sean? No? Okay. See if it's out there somewhere. Look for it. Seriously. Put Big O radio show. No, put Big O show and singing with Marshall Tucker or Marshall Tucker Band or something. It's got to come up, or Pompano Beach Amphitheater or something, and Marshall Tucker or something. It's got to come up. It's there somewhere. It's on social media. It's posted. It's disturbing, but I'm there. My favorite Black Sabbath album, CD, whatever, Masters of Reality. It is a great album. Darren says Randy Rhoads was my favorite. Kyle says Meatloaf. I love Meatloaf. The food and the singer. Great. Bat Out of Hell it's just one of the great albums. You just have to give him all the love in the world for Bat Out of Hell. Yes, I do like the Outlaws. I've seen them several times. First time I saw the Outlaws, I saw them at the Miami Marine Stadium, and it was the Outlaws. It was Molly Hatchet, the Outlaws, and Stranger. Love Stranger. Stranger was a Tampa band, a Florida band, and they had a song that I love called Swamp Woman. So if you ever find a Stranger, Swamp Woman. There you go. And sometimes it'll come up with Greg, the lead singer. I forgot his name. He lives in Tampa because almost everybody else is dead, unfortunately. Guitarist is dead and stuff like that. Don't forget Jackie Lee's Badlands. Oh, yeah, I'm with you, dude. Love Jackie Lee. Or Jakey Lee, I'm sorry. Jakey Lee. Yeah, you trip me out because you put Jakey with two E's and all that. It's Jake and then an E and then Lee. That's how it is. Jake and then E and Lee. I believe that's how he spells it. But yeah, Jakey Lee was obviously Bark at the Moon was his album there with Ozzy. Ozzy's had the greatest. He's worked with the greatest collection of guitarists ever, right? On one band. I don't know if anybody else has had that many great guitarists on one band, from Zakk Wylde to Brad. Is it Brad Gillis, right? From Night Ranger, Jakey Lee, Randy Rhoads. I mean, are you effing kidding me, dude? Like, I don't know how Ozzy does it, man, but he has a knack for finding those great guitarists. It's absolutely amazing. Wonder how many penalties the Dolphins have committed last year to this year. They've committed more. Yeah, they're not as disciplined as they were last year, my brother, unfortunately. Favorite Rush album? God, it's tough, dude. Because 2112 just is so magical. I'll have to go 2112 first. Then I'll go with Moving Pictures, probably number 2. Parallel Lines. I think is it called Parallel? Is it? Let me see. Let me pull up the Rush albums. Something like that. It's let me see. I forgot now. I got to pull it up now. But is it like Parallel? Is that what it, no, Permanent Waves. I'm sorry. Permanent Waves. Parallel line. I'm thinking Blondie. Permanent Waves. That's the one. That would be my other one that I love. Let's see. Oh, when does the Zeppelin reunion tour begin? I have not had a date yet. I have not heard yet of the date. All that stuff is still in the works, but I hear it's coming. Heard Benson and Hendrix were in a club in New Orleans. Benson blew him off the stage. George Benson. Yes, George Benson is George Benson's a monster guitarist. Like, he's super underrated. Yeah, people don't realize how good George Benson is. Yeah. Robert Cray doesn't get a lot of love either. You know? There's just some of those guys that come under the radar and they don't get enough love. Look, back in the day, speaking of Blondie, her band doesn't get enough love for how good it was. Missing Persons, their band never gets enough love for how good it was. You know what I mean? It's just things happen like that. Sometimes, Neil Girardo, Pat Benatar's husband, and obviously guitarist and songwriter, and he is an elite songwriter, not just for him, but for other people. But not only that, he's an underrated guitarist, and early Pat Benatar, he would wail a lot more. As he got older, he doesn't. But that guy's a badass guitarist, and he just doesn't show off enough. But that's kind of the way it is. George Lynch was almost an Aussie too. Not surprised, right? George Lynch is amazing. Rich has to be the best A-side of any Rush album. Are you talking about 2112, the A-side? Is that what you're talking about? Prince Prince is a god of a guitarist. Yeah, well, remember, Prince is an elite musician. He plays every damn instrument out there. So he would write the entire album. It's like Bruce Springsteen. Bruce can play a ton of instruments. You know what I mean? That's what makes guys like Prince and Bruce so legendary, that they wrote all kinds of hits for themselves, and then they wrote all kinds of hits for everybody else. That's how good. Like Prince and Bruce Springsteen, they got tired of writing songs. This Manic Monday, it doesn't go for me. Here you go, Bangles. You can have it. Just go ahead. Have a number one hit. Here, it's on me. It's like Springsteen's kicking back on, this song Fire. It's pretty good, but I think the Pointer Sisters, they can sing this song a little better. Here you go. Patty Smythe, here you go. Well, I'll give you the greatest song in the history of your career, maybe the only song that was the history of her career. But there you go, Patty. We belong to the night. Okay? It's all yours. All right? Think about that. Just think about those kind of things. Like, you're so good, right, that you can write number one hits for other people because, just lyrics are just like oozing out of your pores, and music is just coming out of every part of your body all the time because you're a freaking monster. So awesome. It's impressive. It really is. Guys like that are just they're so hard to find, man. They're so hard to find. Big O, people are saying Tua's still a bust. I mean, my brother, listen, the criticism of Tua is so over the top. It's ridiculous. You know, any young quarterback makes that throw downfield and everybody says, wow, that's a great play. And that's what it was yesterday. That was a great play. He scrambled out of the pocket. He didn't really get to plant completely himself and all of that, you know, and somehow or another he finds, Mac Hollins, just like he did with Waddle the week before. The idea is that the ball got there before any defender got there. I don't care how the ball looks. I don't care how far it's thrown. 10 yards, 40 yards, or 50 yards like that one, or 70 yards. I don't care. You know, when people say, oh, well, he had to stop. Well, you idiots, it's a broken play. It wasn't a timing play. Learn the goddamn game. Oh, it wasn't in stride. Well, of course not. It wasn't diagrammed that way, you moron. The guy's pressured. He's coming out of the pocket. He then finds him that he's open. Boom, he lets it out. That's it. He's not even planted or anything. He's trying to avoid a rush, avoid getting hit, and getting rid of it as soon as possible with still a fractured middle finger. And it went 50 yards. That kid can't do anything to satisfy the people that dislike him, that don't believe in him. It'll never happen. It won't happen. No matter what. That's it. They have given up on that kid. And it's not his fault what's going on here. He's doing the best he can under the conditions that he's been brought in. It's just ridiculous. The criticism that this kid goes through. It just makes no sense whatsoever. He's a playmaker. He's adjusted to a chaotic situation, which is not easy. You don't have great coordinators. You don't have a great offensive line coach. You don't have a great line. You don't have a running game. So it's a lot harder to have success. The structure around you is broken. And that's why Fitz excels at that, because he's been a backup his whole life. He's been a fill-in quarterback his whole life. Every time he steps in for the guy that got benched, he's stepping into a terrible situation. That's been his entire career. That's why he excelled here, because he was used to the chaos for 15 years. So that's a lot of experience in chaotic situations. This kid, as you've noticed, because you don't want to give him credit, because you also don't look at it, he has adjusted to a chaotic situation within the span of a 16-game schedule. With two different coordinators, by the way, during that 16-game schedule. But of course, why give him any credit? He doesn't deserve it. Why give him credit for making the play to Waddle? Why give him the credit for making the play to throws to Gesicki or throws to Mac Hollins or the quick touchdown that he was able to get to Gaskin yesterday before the defenders, got on top of Gaskin? What the hell? Why do that? Why give him any credit for anything? That's just the way it just seems like it, man. Like, I'm convinced that he's not going to be a player, so it's over. And I'm convinced that since he's not 6'5", he can't be successful. And I'm convinced that because he doesn't have a cannon of an arm, he can't be successful. This is what we're getting, man. It's sad, but this is like what we have to deal with. It's the crap we have to deal with Tua. By the way, please smash the hell out of the like button. It is very, very important that you do that. What's amazing, according to Rosendo, is that Tua has not completed a full season, and he's shown promise. Give him 2 more seasons to shine and polish his skills. Watch out for the Samoan sniper in the future. I agree with you. But, Rosendo, you have patience. So do I. I just want him to have the support he needs because he's a real quarterback. You have a real quarterback right now. It's not a game manager. None of that BS. Okay? He's a real quarterback. Get him the weapons, get him the coach, get him that line, and everything will be fine, man. Everything's going to work out. Big O, what do you think about my idea of moving Matt Collins to tight end? He's a better blocker than Gesicki, better route runner, better speed, better wiggle. He can beat man. James, he does that at wide receiver. Don't you see him getting behind defenses? And he making plays. Last time I checked, James, they don't have enough reliable wide receivers. And, hey, I love Omar to death, bro. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. Okay, agree or disagree, I love Omar to death. But I can't disagree with him more about this whole blocking crap. I'm not enamored with this whole, I don't need Gesicki to block. I'm fine putting him out off the line and everything. I'll get an inline tight end that can block, and I'm hoping that Hunter Long becomes that guy down the line that can block and catch. But Gesicki is a playmaker. I'm keeping him at tight end. I'm going to keep him being a pain in the ass to any linebacker, any DB, any safety that wants to try to cover him. But Matt Collins, I'm keeping at wide receiver because I only have one other reliable wide receiver, and his name is Jalen Waddle. And if I'm the Miami Dolphins, which I'm not, and I'm certainly not Flo, because if I was Flo, Matt Collins would have been playing from day one. Because I can count on Matt Collins. I can't count on anybody else. It's Waddle and Matt Collins. It ends there. There are no other reliable receivers. I have to go to Isaiah Ford. DVP? No. Will Fuller? No. Albert Wilson? No. Although I will give Albert Wilson, I do have to give him a little love. He's helped out the last 2 weeks here. One way or another. He made a great pass, by the way, yesterday to Preston Williams. Preston Williams? No. And please cut Preston Williams already. Please just drop him. Get rid of him. It sets such a bad example that you keep supporting people that are either screw-ups or liabilities. It doesn't set a good precedent. So I'm hoping next year I'm going to lose my effing mind if they bring back Parker, Will Fuller, or Preston Williams. Okay? I don't want to see any of those three guys ever again in a Dolphin uniform. Get rid of them already. Get people who are reliable. That's what you need. Didn't we say the same stuff about Tannehill for like 5 years? No, Detox. You said that. Okay. Maybe you said that. On this show, I said from the day he was drafted, he wasn't the answer. So I'm sticking to what I said, whatever he's been in the league. 8, 9 years ago, whatever the hell it is now, at this point, I'm sticking to my guns, and I've been right from the get-go. He's not a franchise quarterback. He'll never be a franchise quarterback. Tua is a real passer, a real franchise quarterback. That's the difference. So the people that were saying it then, they didn't know what the hell they were talking then. And if they're still thinking it now, they're probably the same people that haven't learned a goddamn thing. Okay? So no we, no nothing. Don't ever say that on this show. Because on this show, we've never believed in Tannehill. Because I see what he is. And Tua, I know what he is. You just got to keep him upright. You want a star? Keep him upright. And you'll have yourself a real passer, a real quarterback. That's the difference between Tua and Tannehill. Huge difference. GP Trap says, I said yesterday on the text line, Matt Hollins is becoming a playmaker. Yes, I'm with you. Mac is a monster. I love Mac. I like guys that are reliable. They don't have to be the most talented guys. Let's see. What is the status of Dieter? How long before he comes back to active roster? Jesus, none of us know, my brother. Not one of us know this. None of us have the inside information. Seems like he's, now supposedly he's making progress, but I don't know, but he might be close. Might be close. But, center hasn't been terrible. Like the dude with the long hair, what's his name? Uh, Ryder or something like that. He's done all right, actually. But I would like Dieter back. I'm with you. Just for developmental purposes. Poor receiving core. They got too many footballs on one play. I don't know what that means. Dana Tua is good without all those things. Give him an O-line running back. Oh, okay. Talking to somebody else. I see. Perfect Q says, if it wasn't for Matt Moore, we would have had the first pick to get Andrew Luck instead of Tannehill. Well, what can I tell you, my brother? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Can't do anything about that. We got the Giants and the Bucks tonight. The Bucks are favored by 11. The over and under is 50. This is one of those games that I'm going to hope that the Giants receive first and they run the kickback for a touchdown, take a 7-0 lead, and then I watch the app on Hard Rock go down from 11 to like 6, and then I jump in. Anyway, that's just me. I'm just going to kind of work it. I don't know about 11 points. I don't know. And the Giants are bad. I mean, they're 3-6. But 11 points is a lot, man. That's a ton of points right there to give out. Oh, by the way, Wednesday at noon, OK Coin CEO Alex Chizik is going to join us. He is the head of listings, the boss, number one, head honcho, big cheese of OK Coin. And, we've been talking about OK Coin here because of Miami Coin, and you can stake it and get 280%. You use my link, you can get $50 free of Bitcoin, all that good stuff. And they have Star Atlas, which is one that I'm a big fan of. I've told you about Star Atlas. It's in the metaverse, and I think it's going to explode when it's all said and done. So Wednesday, we are going to have Alex Chizik on, and we'll talk a little crypto with him. So not only sports interviews, but we're going to start adding a little crypto to all of this. I want to get the mayor on too, to talk a little Miami Coin, a little crypto with him also. I'm not going to get into a bunch of politics or any of that crap. I'm talking crypto. Okay, that's what I want to do. I want to get into a little crypto. So we'll do that on Wednesday at noon. Now remember the schedule this week. Wednesday we're at Hialeah Park. Normally it's Thursdays from here on out that we're at Hialeah Park, but unfortunately, we have, fortunately, we got Thanksgiving on Thursday. We all get to eat some really good food. So Thursday, we're all off. Yes, we're not going to be here. All right. We do deserve a day off. Hell, Sean, I don't know what we're going to do to ourselves. We got 2 days off this week, Thursday and Saturday, bro. Jesus. Damn. We're kind of lazy this week, aren't we, Sean? It's kind of, yeah. We're slobbing, man. It's terrible. But you know what? Maybe we'll give you a little best of on Thursday to recover there. And if you're hanging out with all that tryptophan and turkey in your system, then we'll kick it off. No, but seriously, Wednesday, we're going to be at Hialeah Park, okay? And we'll have some fun, and then we'll talk to Alex at noon on Wednesday. And then Friday, we're going to be at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. And we're going to be there a little early, too, because obviously we have the Palo City Inside the Paint show from 9 to 10 a.m. All right? So that's kicking off there. So it's a beautiful thing. How about that? Love it. So there you go. That's the schedule for this week. And then, of course, Sunday, we're going to be of Bird Road. We're going to be at Sports Grill looking to make it 4 in a row. So that is the schedule for this week. Big O, you're losing me, bro, with all this other talk. I come for Dolphins talk only. Sucks you're starting to talk about a lot of SoCal Derek, my brother. You know what? I've seen you, like, I saw it. I remember it, and I remember it was specifically you. Ira comes in and go, oh, I'm out of here. SoCal, I don't know if you know this, dude. I've been doing radio for 31 years here. I'm a South Florida sports talk show host. Okay? I'm not just a Dolphins talk show host. We talk Heat, we talk Panthers, we talk Marlins, we talk Canes, we talk Inter Miami, we'll talk crypto, we'll talk music, we'll talk guy talk, we'll talk whatever. That's just the way this show goes, dude. Okay? So we're a complete sports show. Yes, it centers around the Dolphins. That's always going to be the heart and soul of it. But I am much more than just Dolphins. So I talk about everything. I could talk about anything going on in the NFL, like I could talk about Major League Baseball, like I could talk some Florida Panthers, like I could talk plenty of Heat or NBA or whatever, Inter Miami, you name it. You know, you are listening to a well-rounded show, my friend. Okay? We are not about limitations. You, sir, unfortunately, are only looking for one thing. So my suggestion to you, SoCal, so you won't be, frustrated, is you wait till the show is actually podcasted and just pick the Dolphin segments. And that's it. You're happy, bro. That way you won't sit there and complain about something that, it's ridiculous to complain about. You know what I mean? That's what it is, SoCal. It's ridiculous because you're tuning in thinking it's an all Dolphin show. Does it look like all Dolphins back there? So, dude, that's not the way it goes. So sitting there and complaining about it and whining about it, ain't gonna. The thing is, don't complain about the show. Either listen or don't listen. Don't tell me what to do on the show because you're not going to drive the show. I am who I am. That's it. And this is how I've done the show for 31 years. And it's not going to change. That's why I want to go for the NBA Summer League. You know what I mean? Because I know basketball. I follow basketball. I follow my baseball team, even though it sucks, unfortunately. But I do. I follow my hockey team. I follow my soccer team. It's just the way it is, man. We're not just a Dolphin show. So you're probably one of the guys that is better off just listening to the Dolphin segmented podcasts. And that's it. And that way you get your fix and you don't have to worry about all the other stuff. Mauricio says it was a tough game to watch at first, but then Tua got his confidence going, taking chances downfield. Some paid off, others didn't, but he's looking better game by game. There you go. I'm with you. I like what I saw. Drago says on the Big O show, his show, SoCal. SoCal Big O has been around for a long time. Show some respect. Too much Dolphins talk can be a drag. Got to be well-rounded with other topics. Exactly. I mean, it's just, it would be limited if we only talk Dolphins. I love my Dolphins. Nobody loves the Dolphins more than I do, but, come on, man. You think I'm going to stay all Dolphins with the way the Heat and the Panthers are playing? The Panthers are the best team in town. You think I'm going to forget the team that's 13-2-3? Hell's to the no, dude. You know how much suffering I've done with the Panthers? I need that, man. Bill Burns says, I can't believe the guy from Fraggle Rock went on to become the Finns sports host. You lost me on that one. What does that mean? What does that mean? Fraggle Rock? I can't believe the guy from Fraggle Rock. Wow. Who's the Finns? Dude, you got me there, Bill. That one went over me, my brother. Completely. Mark Craven, thank you, sir, for giving us some love on the super chat. And I love it. He's got one of the stickers going on. The thing soaring in the air. Very nice of you, Mark. I appreciate you, my man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Donate 100K and he may reconsider how he structures his show. SoCal, I got to tell you, if you donate 100K, what do you think, Sean? We could do all Dolphins for about a month or two, right? There you go. So there you go. You want to donate 100K, then, that's a whole different ballgame there. Let's see. What else do we have? Big O are saying Tua still. Oh, yeah, I already talked about that. Big O, one of the biggest issues, Eric Manzano is saying, is picking the wrong player. The GM has been with the Finns for over 20 years in different capacities. They've sucked for every 20 years. Follow the trail. Eric, bro, do you know how stupid of a comment that is? Do you know how mother effing stupid that is? And do you know how mother effing stupid it is that other idiots continue to repeat that? All right, I'm going to do this for the last time. Do me a favor, Sean. Make this a video. Okay? 3, 2, and 1. So for those of you that think that Chris Greer been around for 20 years, like my man Eric Manzano, since we're going to make him the whipping boy of this whole thing here. So this stupidity that continues to fester among Dolphin fans, because you are a dumbass for thinking this, because you don't think for yourselves, you just repeat what another dumbass says. So let's do this. For 17 years before, let's say he's been there 20, I don't think it's 20, whatever, it's 18, 19, whatever. But for 17 years, outside of the 3 years that he's really in charge, he's had people above him, different general managers, different head coaches, different college directors of scouting before he was a director of scouting, okay? So every year, Eric, you file draft profiles, okay? Every year you're going to file, I like this player, I don't like this player. So every couple of years that the Dolphins switch general managers and head coaches, they assess all their employees, all their personnel employees. All your reports are on hard drive, Eric. So if Chris Greer for 15 years was writing terrible reports and telling you draft this guy and the guy sucked and draft this guy and the guy sucked, do you think they would have kept him around for 15 years? Coach after coach, general manager after general manager, personnel director after personnel director, do you think they would have kept him around? Why do you think he was kept around for 15 years? Just let that marinate a little bit, dude. Think about it. They fired a whole bunch of other people in the personnel department. Every time they have changes, they fire many scouts. I know because I keep up with this. You don't, Eric, because you don't know jack crap. All you do is repeat what another dumbass says. So now let's get back to what's going on now, since you all want to overreact again. Okay? So all of the defensive players are developing, except for Noah, and he doesn't play because they've got 2 starters in place. And the only reason they drafted Noah is because the guy got arrested for domestic violence and a knee surgery. So they had a question mark. They drafted a corner. Okay, so he's the only guy that's a miss right now, but he hasn't played. Maybe next year when they trade Axe and he starts to play, maybe he develops into a good player. But all the other defensive players are developing. Holland's developing. Jalen Phillips is developing. Brandon Jones is developing. Christian Wilkins has developed into a nice player. Overall, the defensive players are developing. The offensive players, Gesicki and Waddle, are doing just fine. Tua's doing a solid job considering all the crap around him. The only thing that's failing are the linemen. So all the overreaction again about the drafts now is, again, more overreaction. And Reggie McKenzie got fired from Oakland. Do you think he sucks because he got fired? And Marvin Allen also? No, dude, I'm sorry. Eric, you don't know jack crap about personnel. And you're commenting about something that you don't know jack crap. Just like the rest of you out there that bring up the same stupid-ass comment that, hey, Chris Greer's been there for 20 years. Yeah, well, why do you think he's lasted? All your work is on hard drives. This isn't Joe Fan saying, hey, you know, I said 8 years ago they should draft this guy, and nobody heard it, nobody knows about it. No. Everybody knows what you want and what you don't want. Everybody knows the players you like and don't like. So obviously, every time there was a regime change, they looked at his reports and said, he's good. Except, Eric, he's black. Don't know if you know that. He's black. Black people have a real problem getting the real opportunities at times, Eric. Not sure if you know about those kind of things, but it happens in this reality. So stop, all of you, saying he's been around for 20 years. It's the dumbest effing comment in the world. Regime after regime looked at his reports and said, he's good. They just don't hire him. They don't make him the general manager because he's black. Okay? So, and look at the last 3 years. I'm not getting rid of Chris Greer. I'm not getting rid of Marvin Allen. And I'm not getting rid of Reggie McKenzie. They're not the problem. Where Chris Greer screwed up, and that's where I'll tell you Chris Greer screwed up. He screwed up in hiring Flo, who can't create his own staff. And that's the problem with a young coach. Now, you want to talk that, Eric? Then we can talk where Chris Greer screwed up. But in personnel, he hasn't really screwed up. It's just a narrative that people are creating with no substance, no proof whatsoever. And I've never seen this in my life, that we blame a guy that wasn't in charge for 17 years. I've never seen that with anyone else up for a job or anybody doing a job. I've never seen blaming somebody that was never in charge. But maybe we do it because he's black. All right, man. You got your video there, Sean. Make it a nice video so that way in the future, if we ever run into another stupid-ass comment like that, I'm just saying, fire it off, Sean. Lordy, sometimes, man, there are things that just think for yourselves, please. Sit back and look at don't just repeat what another idiot on TV said or a moron on radio that doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, or she doesn't know what she's talking about, and they don't really follow this. They just hear one person after another. This is a business that your ass is on the line. If the decisions that aren't made, the right decisions aren't made, you're done. Okay? There's a reason why these guys are here. They can do the job. Now, they've effed up so far on the coach. It looks like it. And now, it's not because I'm slamming so much Flo, the head coach. I'm slamming Flo, the organizer and the people person, that I think his people skills suck. And I also think he can't build a staff. And if he can't build a staff, sorry. Okay? As I've said throughout the weekend, if you're a CEO and you can't replace your managers and you can't replace your employees, you can't be a CEO. You can't be a manager of a restaurant, a manager of any kind of business, if you can't replace your employees, your good employees when they leave, with other good employees. If you don't know how to eye the good employees and promote the good people, then you will get constantly burned. Okay? That's the bottom line. And Flo, I'm picking more on his lack of skills in being able to put together a real staff. And I don't know if he ever will be. That's where Chris Greer might have screwed up. Okay? That's where he might have screwed up, and he might have to hire another coach. That's what I would do personally. If I'm Chris Greer and staff, I'm firing Flo, and I'm going to find me another coach that can really build a staff. Okay? That's why we are in rebuilding stage. Big mistake. We went 10-6 last season. High expectations this year. Radically says, I don't care what the GM's ethnic background is. He doesn't know how to manage people. Flores is manageable. He is? Yeah, well, you're not really watching. I like Flo. He's had a rough year, but the previous 2 years he excelled. He exceeded expectations. If he had a bad year next year, then I'll start to doubt him. I know that's what's going to end up happening, Carlos. You're right. That's what's going to happen. Hey, let's give him another shot, one more year to try to. But the problem is, if you haven't found coaches, what makes you think that you're going to find the offensive coaches in year 4? I've seen this story before, and that's why I want to avoid the same kind of ending. You know? Big O, put that on YouTube so I can play it for my friends. Bothers me who thinks they know about the Dolphins. No, the worst part is like they watched his reports or something, like they saved him. I've never seen any. Have you ever heard of that? Somebody that gets blamed for other stuff that they weren't even in charge for? It's the stupidest thing in the world. It's the most ignorant thing in the world to say. Let's blame Chris Grier when he was never in charge. He's in charge now. Now, the last 3 years, he's fully in charge of personnel, of the coaching staff, trades, whatever. Pick on him for that. Okay? You want to pick on him for trading away the first-round pick and now look at the predicament they're in? That's legitimate. You want to pick on him because he didn't pick the right coach? That's legitimate. But picking on him for what happened 7 years ago and 10 years ago and 12 years ago, that's absolutely stupid. It just is. We blame the people in charge. They're the ones that make the decisions. That's who we blame. And guess who's in charge now? So now if you want to at least, if that guy would have at least sent me a text and complain about the now, I don't mind. But every time I hear the damn past, that he had nothing to do with it because he had no power whatsoever, it just makes no sense. And even for a couple of years before these last three, where they gave him, draft power, he still did not make all the decisions. And he didn't make all the free agent decisions, and he didn't make all the trade decisions and all that other stuff. So he really wasn't fully in charge. And we don't really know about every single decision during that draft, which were his players and which were Adam Gase. Because Gase did meddle, I know for a fact, in the draft. So I clean the slate. I don't care what happened before the 3 years. I measure them now during these 3 years. And I see the personnel developing. I don't see an offensive line developing because they have no O-line coach. And the offense isn't getting anywhere because they have no offensive coordinators. That's why. But I don't blame the talent, and I don't believe all 5 linemen suck. I believe if you get a real coach and a real offensive line coach, you're going to see a couple of those guys come through, and you're going to go, oh, okay, it wasn't so bad. But what was bad? The coaching. And that's where I say Chris Grier and company screwed up. They need to fire Flo, and they need to make a change. That's where I stand on that. But to blame a guy for what happened 7, 10, 12, 14 years ago, that's ridiculous, man. So we're going to blame him for taking Ted Ginn. We're going to blame him for Cam Cameron saying, hey, I know Ted Ginn and his entire family. So it's his fault that they drafted Ted Ginn. That's what we're doing? I don't have time for that kind of ignorance. It's just ridiculous. After Flo leaves, he will most likely be a D coordinator, which there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's great. If you're a great coordinator, that's an amazing achievement. Okay? Great coaching achievement. I'm giving Flores some time. I have patience. I have to evaluate after the season. Yeah, that's fair enough. You got 6 more games, right? I think it is. Yeah, it's fair enough. From what I hear, Coach Flo had a lot to say as well. I know. But Flo has picked up players too in this. But Grier's in charge now. So he allowed Flo to meddle. And just like what they did with Gase, they gave Gase too much power. You are correct. But I can't give Grier the break on Flo picking Hunter Long. Let's put it that way. I can't give Grier the break completely on, well, he wanted to cut Flowers. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But you hired Flo. So that's Grier's problem. I'm going to be fair about this, but I'm not going to be unfair and start blaming him for stuff that he's not in charge of. He's in charge of the franchise now. So let's be fair and at least criticize him for the last 3 years. What you like, what you don't like, that's fair. That's subjective. That's understandable. Blaming him for anything 5, 10, 12 years ago, That's absolutely ignorant. It's stupid. That's all. Let's see. What with an O-line coach and offensive coordinator would be the number one in the division? Probably. Big O, if Frank Kafka next year or an OC that's just competent, no more experimenting. Dude, I don't know. Whoever you want to throw out there, whatever crazy ass names you want to throw out there, I don't care. But just get the damn job done and fix the coaches. That's all. All right, folks. I'm out of here. I appreciate all of you out there as always. Those of you that made a donation, thank you all. Thanks to all of you for tuning in and supporting the show every way that you do support it. And remember, you can always reach out to us on the text line at 855-912-1056. Sean Adams, by the way, thank you, sir. He says for loving the show. He gives us a little love there on Cash App. And remember, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show as always. Appreciate all of you out there. Tomorrow, we'll be rocking and rolling. We'll have, let's see, who joins us tomorrow? It's Tuesday. Manny Navarro will be joining us. I'll see if we get Alan Poupart also. We'll push up Alan Poupart to Tuesday, and we'll get Joe Shad on Wednesday. So we'll have those guys and maybe a couple of other surprises out there that we're working on. All right, folks. I love you all out there. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O.